7171.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, it's Jesse Kelly. When a restaurant closes, my reaction is, that sucks. They had good steak. When regional banks close, or 3 of them close overnight, it freaks me out. This is why I have my own personal gold reserve. It's part of my personal protection plan. Call my friends at Oxford Gold Group. Call 833-404-GOLD. 833-404-GOLD. That's 833-404-GOLD.
This baking summer heat is definitely hard on your home. Call PJ Fitzpatrick to fix the small problems before they become big ones. PJ will come to your home with a complete shop in their truck, and they can fix it all same day. Leaky windows, overflowing gutters, rotted trim, and damaged roofs. Call the home repair experts at PJ Fitzpatrick. No job too big or too small. Visit them at trustpj.com. They'll fix it right the first time. Visit trustpj.com and stay off the ladders. That's trustpj.com.
Don't miss Dr. Marianne Ritchie, your radio doctor, Saturday afternoons at 5. Tune in for accurate information so you can make the right medical decisions. Your radio doctor, Dr. Marianne Ritchie, Saturday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
This is Larry Steinhaus of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
First-time homebuyers have a one-stop trusted partner with American Heritage Credit Union. With our first-time homebuyer program, you can earn up to a $500 lender credit. Our realtors can help you shop for your first home, and qualified borrowers can even receive up to $5,000 in first front door grants. To apply with one simple application, visit AmericanHeritageCU.org/FTH. All loans subject to credit approval. Insured by NCUA. Equal Housing Lender. NMLS 433838.
Your official home for Penn State football and basketball is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app. Listen to every Nittany Lions game on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. Free speech lives here. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And away we go, live on this Wednesday, August 23rd. It is indeed Kayal and Company here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. We are always live on the free Odyssey app and, of course, streaming live for your video viewing pleasure on YouTube as we are with you for the next 4 hours, taking you up until 10 o'clock this morning. 855-839-1210, the phone number. Twitter and Instagram at 1210 WPHT. I am at Nick Kayal, K-A-Y-A-L. Don Stenzelin with the news. Greg Stocker, the chairman of the board. Daniel Valdez, Anthony Dorenzo, our associate producers. It is debate night in America. Trump and Tucker on Twitter tonight. Tony Bruno's going to be joining us live from Florida in the 8 o'clock hour. I would say you should probably stick around for all 4 hours today and all 4 hours tomorrow. but most of you do anyway, so that's nothing new. Dawn, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday indeed. Gregory.
Yeah, for the end of August, there's a whole ton of stuff going on, isn't there? It's great.
Those dog days of summer.
They don't happen anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not in August of 2023.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of good stuff to get to this morning. Buckle up, folks. Masks, they're coming back.
Cool.
In Hollywood, in academia. I'm thinking by like mid-September, you're going to see people just moseying around the grocery store masked up.
Oh,
you're
not seeing it now?
Grocery store.
Yeah,
well,
I'm seeing
in
it
higher
now.
numbers.
Okay.
In higher numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, the crazies have kept them because they're permanently broken. But they'll be coming back. Don't call it a comeback. We've got that to get to this morning. DeSantis in the big take this morning, as tonight is a huge night for him. Also, a very serious analysis and breakdown of why Donald Trump is absolutely a threat to win in 2024. That courtesy of CNN. We will get to that. Pennsylvania and the possibility of a 4-day work week.
What?
Without a pay reduction.
Oh,
Ooh,
nice.
4 days.
Work
Cool.
smarter, not harder, folks.
Does
We
that
got a lot.
mean? Does that mean if Pennsylvania works 4 days a week, then we should work 4 days a week because theoretically we're here for people when they go to work?
Well, in theory, Zeoli created the 4-day work week. So the state is just adopting what Rich has been proposing
It's
for
true.
years. And we're all just going to join the party a little bit late. But we got a lot of good stuff to get to. Before we get to all of that, including the big take on DeSantis, the Disney obsession, and tonight's big spot, let's get to Dawn Stenzelin, 6:05, round number one of the news.
Yes, and good morning on this Wednesday, August 23rd. It's another beautiful, crisp day. 65 degrees right now. So I'll tell you about the wonderful forecast coming up. But let's start with what's happening in our region as we learn that a correctional sergeant is in stable condition this morning after shooting a suspect during an attempted carjacking. This was at a North Philadelphia gas station last night, 22nd Street and Allegheny Ave. So we're told by authorities a state prison's correctional sergeant shot this suspect, who also shot her during an attempted carjacking in North Philadelphia. They're saying she's the victim in all of this. Both are in stable condition this morning. And they say that the cameras clearly show the 35-year-old putting gas in her BMW vehicle. When the guy approaches her, grabs her, puts her in a bear hug from behind, there's a physical struggle, and they both pull weapons and shoot each other.
Wow.
11 shots fired. So when
Female correctional officer.
Yeah.
And I would have said...
Don't mess with her.
No. And I've got profound respect for those that work in correctional
Yes.
institutions, especially the females. And you're outnumbered in those settings, 20, 30, 40 to 1 many times. She probably never thought it would be rougher on the street than it is when she's where she works.
Well said.
Yeah.
11 shots fired in all of this. So she was shot twice and he was shot twice. They're both in stable condition. So the police have not identified the suspect or the correctional officer as either. As far as the story that we've been talking about now, this is a week and a half. So now the newly formed COPC, that's the Citizens Crime Commission that was created, right? And relatively new. This is the first test for it after that deadly traffic stop that happened Monday a week ago. Well, now the COPC is calling for the Philadelphia police officer involved to be fired following the fatal shooting of 27-year-old Eddie Jose Irizarry. So video of the shooting was released yesterday during a news conference with Irizarry's family members as well as their attorney. And sources are saying in the COPC calling for the officer to initially be suspended for 30 days with intent to dismiss following that deadly shooting during a traffic stop. Remember, this all started, he was driving erratically, according to authorities, driving the wrong way in a one-way. And so ultimately, we're expecting more information, a 1 o'clock news conference today with the police commissioner, Daniel Outlaw. Mayor Jim Kenney is going to be out there as well, and they will be speaking about the case 1 o'clock this afternoon.
I know every case should stand alone on its own facts and its own issues and its own merit, But I'm actually surprised it took a week and a half for he should be fired to come out. But I really hope that this is not the new theme and trend of with that COPC where we're going to just basically come to the conclusion every time that the officer needs to be dismissed. I hope that's not the disturbing pattern that we start.
Yeah, we hope. I wish they would have come out Monday, all of these individuals, and I wish they all would have spoken out after another. The local media was even saying mass shooting over the weekend, 9 people shot, including some teenagers.
Crickets.
Mm-hmm. So we know that, we know that all eyes are on Milwaukee for tonight's debate of 8. The first GOP debate, sans Trump, who we will see on tape, and that's with Tucker Carlson. Rudy Giuliani is the latest today, expected to turn himself in Georgia, Fulton County. This all has to do with the election of 2020, and he's expected, like the others yesterday. We had been reporting that mid-morning, talking about how many have been turning themselves in, when everybody else will turn themselves in. Trump waiting until tomorrow morning. I'll mention that Governor Josh Shapiro, a Democrat, will headline a big Democrats convention coming up in September. So it's something we've been watching as far as Shapiro's ambition for the White House and teeing up for that. And this has caused some speculation that he is the one chosen in New Hampshire to address fellow Democrats moving forward in September. So wanted to give you that local angle of politics. Coming up, moving forward, we'll talk about a New Jersey poll and kids and gender studies on parents and how parents view that. I think that's a pretty interesting one. But we got to talk about sports because our Phils, they're on fire.
Uh-oh. Another one.
Trey Turner's 2-run base, knocking the bottom of the 9th.
Hey,
helps the Phils
Trey
come back.
Trey earning his paycheck.
4-3. He can credit the fans. He did the billboards.
Take another one out.
It's nice.
Yeah, put them all over town. I want them on 476, 95, 676, billboards everywhere.
I will say it's nice to see exciting baseball again, though.
It
You know
is.
what I mean?
It is. I'm telling you, I think we're going to see a repeat. I really do believe this fall will be a repeat of last year.
It sure seems like it.
It really does.
They're making the same run.
Deep run for both teams.
Yep.
Hopefully we finish the deal this time around with one of the two at least.
Well, they can sweep the Giants today,
Good.
right? 4-5.
Yeah.
Yes.
Third is the last game of that series.
Yes, sir.
Send them back to the Bay, and they can go back to shopping at Target and seeing all their products locked up behind chains.
Because they were the Giants were right behind them, and then in the wild card, I think Chicago hopped over.
Yeah, the wild card's been wide open. There's all kinds of teams jockeying for position. But don't worry, the Phillies will be one of the three. I've been saying that for a while.
Well, Jason Kelsey, what did you do?
Oofa. Yeah, don't mess with his teammates.
Oh, this was the inter-practice fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a little tense, flared up during the joint practice between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Indianapolis Colts.
I'd like to see this. Why do they do these joint practices, by the way?
Just to stop hitting each other. Because you get tired, you're hot, you're angry, it's August, you're tired of seeing the same guy for the last 3.5 weeks in his underwear in the locker room, talking to his wife on FaceTime, and then going out there and you're melting to death in a puddle. You're like, I'm just going to punch somebody in the face. I've had it. I've been there.
Well, the practice session was cut short due to this one. So Jason Kelsey, a little conciliatory, let's say, afterwards, but he took a little exception with the level of physicality the Colts linebacker had with Eagles running back, and this was Kenneth Gainwell during back-to-back plays. So he afterwards, he talked about the fact that maybe he got a little too physical.
Yeah, one of the players was like, "Yeah, you're not going to come into our practice facility and shove us around. That's not going to happen."
Yeah, that was Gainwell that said it.
Yeah,
curse too in the post debacle interview.
I know.
It's
and
awesome.
You think we need this to happen at the GOP debate tonight on Fox?
It's true.
Christie just takes a swing at Ramaswamy.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Oh. It's not going to happen.
Well, that would be very bad.
I can't bully Trump tonight, so Vivek, I'm coming for you because you haven't said one mean thing about Trump. Get over here.
Well, Jason Kelsey said, "I let my emotions get the better of me."
He really is Philadelphia's mascot.
Through and through.
I know.
Just
I love
amazing.
Him. Yes.
Just amazing.
He might be down the hall this morning drinking beers with some of their producers.
Yeah.
Excitable boy. Don't mess with his teammates.
Nope.
So let's real quick here. NBC 10 first alert forecast, which you are going to love, 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 because, again, 65 right now. We are warming up to a crisp, low humidity, 81 degrees. Tomorrow, the rain moves in. So tomorrow, much cooler. We're in the 70s, but rain tomorrow and Friday. So that's the NBC 10 First Alert forecast. And this is First Edition, Kayal & Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 6:13 Wednesday morning. Let's get to another midweek, a big take.
The Big Take on Kayal & Company.
Ron DeSantis and the Disney obsession. Ron DeSantis and his battle with Disney is nothing new, but at this point, I do think it's fair to ask the question, will Ron's obsession with Disney be the death of DeSantis on the national political stage? Tonight at 9 o'clock on Fox News, Ron DeSantis has the opportunity to resurrect his failing presidential campaign. It's been a whirlwind 10 months for the highly successful, often controversial, at least in the eyes of the lamestream media, Florida governor. It was just last November where DeSantis romped to re-election in the 2022 midterms, racking up record approval ratings amongst racial groups not seen since Jeb Bush 20 years ago. When Ron was running a shadow campaign, he was the hottest GOP up-and-coming commodity. But once his POTUS aspirations were official, he has fizzled like a firecracker that packed no punch. Now, some of that has to do with the elephant in the room, Donald Trump, but a lot of it has to do with the personality flaws of DeSantis. Cliches such as woke that have gone to die amongst the masses, and a botched POTUS announcement on Twitter Spaces with Elon Musk. And while the battle against Disney has been commendable, it, much like Florida is where woke goes to die, may have reached its shelf life expiration date. You see, DeSantis has had victories against the Central Florida global media giant, but now I get the sense that it's fatigued and exhausted many Americans who believe he is overplaying his culture war's hand. But he's not wrong in principle of American family conservative values. Here is Walt Disney back in 1948 testifying before Congress that communists wanted to take over Hollywood. Take a listen to this gem.
Well, I didn't pull my punches on how I felt. And he evidently heard that I had called them all a bunch of communists, and I believe they are. And at a meeting, he leaned over and he said, that you think I'm a communist, don't you? And I told him that all I knew was what I'd heard and what I'd seen. And he laughed and said, well, I used their money to finance my strike of 1937. And he said that he got the money through a personal check of some actor, and I don't know who that. He didn't even name the actor. I didn't go into it any further. I just listened.
Can you name any other individuals that were active at the time?
I don't believe it's a political party. I believe it's an un-American thing. And the thing that I resent the most is that they are able to get into these unions and take them over and represent to the world that a group of people that are in my plant that I know are good 100% Americans are trapped by this group, and they're represented to the world as supporting all of those ideologies, and it's not so. And I feel that they really ought to be smoked out and shown up for what they are, so that all the good free causes in this country, all the liberalisms that really are American, can go out without this taint of communism. That's my sincere feelings on it.
Now, Walt was worried about the commies in entertainment. DeSantis is worried about the woke in Florida and in America. Walt Disney wanted to smoke out all the extreme ideologies. He didn't mind liberalism. DeSantis is now trying to weed out the wokeism and the progressive politics that were in his state and certainly are in our nation and well within the Disney brand. And I commend him for that. But it's time to ignore that, since he has ignored his state the last few months and focused on cutting through as a presidential candidate. And tonight, before the nation, in a setting without Donald Trump, is absolutely massive for Ron DeSantis. Now, that might be easier said than done, however. Headline in the New York Post, DeSantis is being sued now by Disney for damages after he asks them to drop the lawsuit. Disney has filed a counterclaim seeking damages against Florida Governor Ron DeSantis just days after the presidential hopeful said the two feuding parties have, quote, moved on from their dispute. Disney has accused the Board of Supervisors picked by DeSantis to oversee Walt Disney World's special tax district of breaching contracts. That according to Thursday's 55-page court filing in response to Florida's recent lawsuit against the media titan. In addition to damages, the company has requested a court order for the district to comply with the contracts that it entered before the board took control of the park's development. Disney's filing denies the district board's allegations against the company in its state-level lawsuit. The company has also put forward 12 affirmative defenses against the board, including that it lacks legal standing. Disney is suing DeSantis separately in a related federal lawsuit, accusing the Sunshine State leader of political retaliation. Very interesting term there, political retaliation, they claim. I think it's time for DeSantis to retaliate against all of his enemies tonight politically on Fox News. If Trump is brought up, which he probably will be, Ron should go for the proverbial kill shot. He's already knee-deep in the Trump sewage. You might as well go down swinging. The mainstream media, blast them while you're at it as well. Christie, Ramaswamy, Pence, annihilate them. All of those consultants in your ear, ignore them. For us, we've seen and heard Ron before, but for others, those that don't live and breathe this on a daily basis like we do here on this show, and those of you that listen to us each and every day, but for others, tonight will be a first impression. What's the hype about? What's the struggle been about lately? I thought this DeSantis guy had all the intangibles. The nation, the audience, and Americans who don't live and breathe politics will get a potential first glimpse at DeSantis tonight, as well as the others, Christie, Ramaswamy, Scott, Haley, Pence. But for DeSantis, I believe it's in his best interest to come out with his A game and swinging and set the stage on fire. Or he can crash and burn on his way back to Florida and finish up term number 2 as governor. But either way, Disney will still be around making terrible movies and overcharging for their parks in Orlando, Florida, where it's hot and it's humid, long after Ron DeSantis is out of Tallahassee and off the national stage. And I think Walt would be very interested in tonight's performance. I know I am. And that's the big take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
All right, big take this morning. If you want to jump in, 855-839-1210 is the phone number. You can get us on Twitter and Instagram at 1210WPHT. Or, of course, be a part of the Kayal and Company comment community on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT and hit the subscribe and like buttons. We'll come back. We'll get some thoughts on tonight's very important first Republican primary debate, as well as the latest with Donald Trump. He will be on with Tucker Carlson on Twitter tonight. But wait till you hear what one person on CNN had to say about just how viable DJT is for a potential second term. We'll get to that on the other side. But right now, I've got to tell you about my friends at the Piazza Auto Group. 4 months in, absolutely love my 2023 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition from Piazza Honda of Springfield. And if you're a truck person like me, now's the time to visit Piazza Honda in Springfield. You can also check them out in Philadelphia, Langhorne, Pottstown, or Reading to take advantage of 0.9% APR financing before the fall weather comes. Or get special finance rates on the Honda Civic, the Accord, CR-V, Pilot, and many more. The Piazza Auto Group, they have 17 brands. Maybe Honda's not for you. You want Nissan, Mercedes-Benz, Maserati. Go on down the list. They have you covered. And convenience is always there for you. 35 different locations. If you can't find one of their spots, you're not trying. And that's my go-to for all things automotive. And the go-to website, it's very simple, piazzaautogroup.com.
It was the day we all feared. The stock market went down and then kept going.
2008, when the markets lost over 50% of their value. But that was over a decade ago. Today, it's not so painful. Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group calls that financial amnesia. When you forget the pain of losing half your savings, and more importantly, ignore the fact that it can happen again. A complimentary consultation from Retire Ready Financial Group can show you where you stand now before the next market pullback. You're much closer to retirement than you were in 2008. Don't let it happen again. Call Jim Cipriotti at 610-894-7415 for a complimentary consultation. That's 610-894-7415 or online at retirereadyfg.com. You can forget where you put your keys, your glasses, or even your car. Don't forget to protect your retirement.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriani, NPN number 2083768.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Make it a September to remember and book your stay at the Oceanfront Grand Hotel in Cape May, New Jersey. Stay 2 nights, save 10% on the discounted room rates. Stay 3 nights, save 10% and receive a $55 a night resort credit. Stay 5 nights, save 10% and get $65 a night in resort credits, which you can use for food and beverage purchases in Hemingway's restaurant, the outdoor pool bar, the beach concession, or the gift shop. Book direct with them for the best rates. Call today at 800-257-8550 or grandhotelcapemay.com.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I have a serious heart condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. I still had symptoms on my beta blocker, so I asked my cardiologist about any treatment advances. It was a breakthrough for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today. You may be glad you did.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 1039 FM.
The lawyer for the family of the man shot and killed by Philadelphia police last week releases surveillance video of the shooting. 2 of Donald Trump's co-defendants in the Georgia indictment have turned themselves in, and Harold has been downgraded to a tropical depression after hitting Texas.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are partnering again with our Costco members. Purchase a certified 2020, 21, or 22 XC40, XC60, or XC90 and receive an incredible additional discount up to $1,500 off. A discount added to the unbelievably already aggressive pricing at Cherry Hill Volvo. Join us for this special offer. Cherry Hill Volvo and Costco and you, perfect together.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
It is Kayal and Company, 626, Wednesday morning. Hopefully all of you off to a great start. Our man Tony Bruno coming up in just about 2 hours, as we'll check in with Tony live from Florida as we do on Wednesdays. Good 40 minutes with Tony. Cut sheet at 7:45. Very big day today. Plenty of reaction tomorrow to, of course, both Donald Trump, Tucker Carlson on Twitter tonight, as well as the first GOP primary on Fox News, made-for-television event from the Deer, I believe they call it the Deer District in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which I believe is actually where they're doing the debate, is where the Milwaukee Bucks play their NBA basketball at. I think it's kind of like a whole complex type thing.
Gotcha.
With like sports amenities and things like that. So that'll be pretty interesting. Martha McCallum and Brett Baer will be hosting that. Now, I threw up a poll question on Twitter before the show started tonight, and I'm not sure what this means. It's a very small sample size. It's very early in the morning. But I threw up this question. I said, how will you consume tonight's GOP debates and content? Will you just watch Fox and the GOP? Will you just watch Trump and Tucker on X? Will you watch both or neither? So far, 49% say neither. 38% say just Trump, Tucker, and Twitter. 10% say I'll take in both. And only 3% say Fox and the GOP.
Yep.
Is that going to be a stinker tonight for Fox? Is this not compelling unless you're in the weeds like all of us? Is this just a, hey, okay, I want to see what Vivek's all about. Keep hearing Kayal and Dawn and Dom say how intelligent Vivek is. Is that the only interest in the Fox angle tonight? Because I got a feeling, and I get it, look, there's like 30 votes on this so far. I got a feeling it's going to be a stinker. It's going to be a dud. I really do.
Luckily, it's at 8 o'clock, so the fills are 4:05.
Oh, I thought it was at 9.
I believe it's 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
Right?
Well, I mean, I would prefer 8 as somebody that tries to go to bed relatively early.
You know what? I'm going to check that because
okay.
I'm looking at the Fox site, and sometimes that's the pregame.
Oh, well,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I better
we've
look
got all these hour-long pregame shows now.
It's 9 o'clock, Daniel.
So thank you. I was looking at Fox News, so they put up this big 8 o'clock because they want you to tune in. So I apologize. Thank you.
See, this is where if I'm Trump and I'm Twitter and I'm Tucker, I'm dropping this. And the thing is, Tucker never tells you when something's coming. He just puts it up because he's, everybody's going to see it and then they recirculate it. I would put this out before 9 o'clock. I would have people talking about me for 45 minutes straight.
He will.
To the point where I don't even care what DeSantis has to say.
Yeah, they'll probably drop this at, as the kids say, drop it at like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock.
Drop it like it's hot?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So I think he's definitely he's not gonna do it at the same time.
Okay. I would hope so. I mean, because I want to be able to watch them both. And obviously the big take is going to be on both tomorrow. So I'm just looking at this from a life convenience standpoint for Nick Kayal.
Look, we're just, we're doing our best to try and hype this up because, look, it's something, it's keeping the interest in what we do day after day.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that there's a lot of people that are clamoring for this debate, especially if Trump's not in it. Because really the only people really paying attention right now are the hardcores.
Yeah.
And the hardcores are for Trump.
Yeah. And I get it.
Show. I just don't think that there is any sort of appetite for the vice presidential debate.
Well, to your point, though, the MSNBC has been headlining a poll that says 24% of Republicans are weary of this and looking to somebody else. So, maybe
weary of what?
Weary of Trump.
Oh.
Weary of Trump.
Okay.
Just getting a little exhausted from it and looking, feel like maybe he's not the one. Who is the one?
Mm-hmm.
So that's, something that I know that I had seen just scanning through that MSNBC is saying that. It's a Semaphore exclusive new poll says that 24% of Republicans say that charges for Trump make them less likely to vote for Trump.
Okay. Yeah, I just feel like between the Trump stuff and then everything we're going to get on Fox tonight, there's questions that need to be answered. And I think what you're going to get with Trump is pretty predictable, especially with Tucker Carlson. But, the questions that need to be answered at 9 o'clock from 9 to 10 or however long that debate in Milwaukee goes, can Ron DeSantis cut through and dominate? Can he show some personality? Does Chris Christie have anything in the tank other than Trump bashing and big Trump envy? Can Vivek continue his ascent? Will Nikki Haley or Tim Scott say or do anything that resonates with the American people? Greg just said this is a vice presidential debate, essentially. Tim Scott has been labeled as a can't-miss VP candidate. He's got all the great qualities, but look, he says he's running for president. What can he do to cut through? What is Mike Pence going to do? What can he say that will resonate? There's, I got to imagine that there will be an element. If this is 60 minutes long and let's just say it's 5 questions, one of the 5 questions will be Trump related. And then, of course, Biden, the economy, and other things such as, perhaps crime and the border and things like that. But it's who can elevate themselves in the first polling data that comes out post primary debate. Like when that next poll comes out right around Labor Day or just before, does anybody else get into double digits with DeSantis? Does DeSantis fall back into single digits? We just heard Dawn mention that one poll from Semaphore and MSNBC about 24% of people being weary of Donald Trump. Well, that's the complete opposite of a piece of audio that I have that I want to share with you guys. This was, I believe, CNN on Monday. I want to play you this for you. This is polling expert Harry Enton, who instructed CNN viewers on Monday to stop believing that Donald Trump is not a strong candidate. He goes on to show 3 recent polls and says there is no clear leader, and that's a problem for Joe Biden. Let's take a listen to this CNN audio.
Trump's lead is even larger. So these are 3 polls that were out over the last week. Look at these leads for Donald Trump. He's at 62% in the CBS News YouGov poll, 57% at Quinnipiac University, 53% in the Fox News poll, Look at where DeSantis is in all these polls. Look how far back he is. Wow. He doesn't crack 20% in any of them. So in Iowa, you have that 20-plus point lead for Donald Trump. That's actually smaller than the lead we see nationally, where we see these leads of 35, 40, near 50 points in this particular case. Of course, the primary is one thing. If Trump wins the primary, can he go on and win the general election? And we've had 3 polls that have come out over the last week here. And I want you to take a look at how close this race is at this particular point. Granted, the general election is over a year away. The largest lead for Joe Biden is just 3 points within the margin of error. No clear leader. Look at these. 1 point, 1 point. If you go back at where we were at this point 4 years ago, Joe Biden's lead was high single digits to low double digits. This is significantly closer than where we were 4 years ago. So this idea that Donald Trump can't win the general election, I want you to lose that idea. This race is very, very close, and Donald Trump is polling better right now than basically at any point during the entire 2020 cycle.
After 4 indictments.
After 4 indictments. It just doesn't really seem to matter.
That's fascinating.
Harry Enton, thank you.
Thank you.
Which this also confirms the story that we talked about a few weeks ago, where Americans are numb to scandals, and it doesn't really matter to them about indictments and every bit of drama that goes on with Donald Trump, or even Joe Biden, for that matter, with all of his swirling nonsense and drama that is out there. I mean, and think about that last little bit there that he gave you. The notion that Donald Trump can't win. I want you to lose that thought. That's coming from a guy on CNN, of all places, looking at the data, looking at the polling numbers. And let's also factor this in. We're talking about, who can cut through tonight on Fox and see their polling numbers increase amongst the DeSantises and the Christies and the Ramaswamis of the world. What if Trump sets the world on fire tonight? What if Trump just goes scorched earth with Tucker Carlson and has the whole world buzzing about what he says? I mean, his polling numbers could go up even higher.
Well, I mean, the rumor is that he's turning himself in tomorrow, right, Dawn?
Correct.
Thursday?
Yes. Thursday.
So he's going to take up the headlines anyway.
Yep.
People are going to be talking about the GOP debate for
a minute.
8 minutes.
Yeah, and then he's going to turn himself in by noon tomorrow, I guess?
Yep.
More people are going to be talking about how good Martha looked at 8 p.m. an hour before
or
tonight's debate, or Brett with his fabulous cufflinks.
He's a big guy.
More people are going to be talking about that than talking about this debate when Trump turns him, which is why he's doing it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you think about it, what you could do if you're Trump, you drop that Tucker Carlson Twitter thing tonight, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever. And then the Fox thing comes on at 9. And then tomorrow you turn yourself in. The Fox GOP debate becomes like the little piece of cheese in the sandwich, and Trump's the 2 pieces of bread. He's got you surrounded. He's got you cornered. And I got to think that's going to be a really good spot for him when the next set of polling numbers come out. And we'll get to the Trump mugshot story coming up in a little bit. But I do want to mention this story. I value Meghan McCain's opinion as much as I do Meghan Markle. But she is the daughter of John McCain, and apparently she's kind of like a media pundit. She does some writing and some TV.
Well, she used to be on The View.
Oh, was she on The View?
Oh, yeah, they were.
Okay, I never watched.
They were
it then.
horrible to her when she was out on maternity leave.
Oh,
and Joy Behar especially said, "I don't care if she doesn't come back." I mean, just nasty to somebody who just had a baby.
I've only ever seen her columns. I didn't know she did that level of television. But she's got an article on the Daily Mail, and she's basically calling Donald Trump scared for skipping out on these Fox GOP debates. And I just want to point out the level of desperation here for Meghan McCain. She says, call it cowardice, call it cynicism, but whatever you do, call it out. The stage is set for the first Republican primary debate, and the frontrunner for the nomination won't even be there. It's a pathetic cop-out, but not a shock. Donald Trump's approach to politics is simple. Seriously engage no one, mock and insult, assume victory, and if you lose, insist that you've been robbed. Seriously engage no one? Probably the most engaging president. If anything, people have said he's too engaging. Get off of Twitter. Stop tweeting. Stop the all caps. You don't need to keep running your mouth. He's the most engaging president of all time. And Trump, and basically she goes on to say, when it comes to, and she gives a response to one of Trump's quotes, Trump says, quote, "Why would I allow people at 1 or 2% and 0% to be hitting me with questions all night?" Trump asked Brett Baer, who will be moderating it on Wednesday night. Why would he risk his lead? Because, Don, this is not all about you. Well, actually, it really is all about Trump because he takes up all the oxygen in the room. But this is now where we have gone in the media, and I'm just highlighting Megan's piece here, but others that echo this same belief. We've now resorted to the "you're scared." I remember saying, well, you're scared when I was 8 years old. Oh, come on, man, let's play baseball in the backyard. What, you're scared? You don't want to? I'm going to strike you out. That's where we're at now. And saying Trump is scared is like saying Mike Tyson was scared of Peter McNeely in 1995 when Tyson got out of jail and he fought a nobody for a payday, the most intimidating puncher of all time. Trump is a lot like Tyson. He's an intimidating puncher. Fox is desperate. They courted him. They said, look, let's go to dinner. Let's have a couple of bottles of wine. I'm going to tell you why it's good for you. It'll be great for us. But when you look at the polls, and Greg has said this is one of Trump's strengths, the debates. So I'm going to throw that here. You talk about he's polling well. It's a venue that he's not afraid of. He thrives in it. And what he's doing, he's yawning. He's saying, oh, thanks, but no thanks. And what have we always said about Trump? Can we, Don, please stop taking the bait. Put your ego in check. And, discretion is the better part of valor. That's the old adage. Just walk away. He's not taking the bait this time, and they're still killing him for it. So I don't think this is and I don't think Trump even cares about what Megan has to say, although he might truth about it. The reality is, I don't think you're going to goat Trump into joining any of these debates. I think he'll get there eventually, but it's not going to be because people are calling him out for it.
Well, Chris Christie's already taken a victory lap saying it's because he's scared to debate me.
Yeah, which I don't think any American buys.
Which is hysterical.
Yes.
As far as Trump McCain, remember they always were feuding.
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah, she has a personal vendetta.
She does.
Who doesn't?
I will say...
About her father.
Yeah. And, I mean, she's the one, to Greg's point, they went at it. And I will say, Trump, I remember when Senator McCain died of brain cancer, he had tweeted out, he was never a big fan, but it was his honor, to, celebrate his life and so on and so forth. And then in that same tweet, he said, I never called John a loser. Because remember they all said.
I do remember that.
They claimed, Trump says he never said that, but he said they disagreed about war and how McCain dealt with VA and that sort of thing, the VA. But remember, McCain came back and they thought that he was going to deliver that vote that would end,
and he did
Obamacare.
And then he did the very
remember?
Thumbs down.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And so they had a feud.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. That's where we are on the debate stage as we get set for that tonight, 9 o'clock in Milwaukee on Fox. Of course, Trump doing his own thing with Tucker. They're both kind of giving the big middle finger bird to Fox News.
Yeah, I don't think that there's, people who listen to this show and follow this very closely are, interested in it. Of course, we'll talk about it tomorrow. But I think a lot of people...
Should I not do the big take on it?
No, of course you should.
Okay.
When they hear about it tomorrow morning at 6:02, whenever we start, it will be the first time they're hearing about it, or they may have seen something on social media about it.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of... people are going to look to us tomorrow to break it down for them because most people won't watch it.
Spoken like a true brand manager.
Yeah.
You sound like a sports programmer saying, nobody watched the Eagles last night, but we got to talk about it because it's a preseason game. That's exactly what you sound like.
Yeah. Well, think about viewership. What was watched more, the Eagles practice where Jason Kelce was being a little naughty, or tomorrow night?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
People's interests have really changed over the years.
It's early, too.
I don't know if it's a social media thing, if it's an attention span thing. If people pay attention, people respond more to the nonsense than they do the substance until, the ninth inning of the game. And then it's like, oh, we got to get serious here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure when that happened, but I've sensed that for years.
I'm guessing you want to do some ratings
Yeah.
prediction for
sure.
All right, let's start with Fox first.
Okay.
I'm guessing they'll get 3.4 million.
Wow. Well, that would be Tucker numbers.
Okay, but it's still like, come on.
I know. But I mean, they haven't had those numbers since Tucker left. Is my point.
A rerun of SpongeBob SquarePants gets 10 million viewers. You know what I mean? So let's not say that. Wow, 3.4. That's huge.
A lot of people loved Patrick.
That's true.
Patrick.
The Trump.
I hate that show.
I do too.
The Trump Tucker. Twitter thing.
Oh God.
Let's do.
And those numbers are skewed.
It's going to say 80 million on the thing.
Right.
But it's not.
It just counts as a swipe.
It's not going to be 80 million.
Yeah.
But that's right. That's my guess.
All right. So we got to go over or under the numbers you set, or we give our own numbers?
You go with whatever you want to.
I will say Fox will have 2.7 million views.
All right. Hang on. I'm writing this down.
You had 3.4?
3.4.
I go 2.7. And Trump Tucker, would you say 80 million?
Yep.
Give me 94 million, Alex.
94 million. Okay.
Yeah.
Dawn Stensland.
I have no. I gotta
Come
see.
on, this is a radio show.
I gotta see what else. I know.
She'll be
I
cutting
know.
the grass.
Oh my Lord!
You know what it is? There's nothing on right now because of the writer's strike.
Performance art. Just give me a number.
Performance art.
Dawn, I got to bring myself up on
I'm
the
your
board.
private dancer.
I got to bring myself up on the board, Dawn.
What?
Have a take and don't suck.
Jesus, just give me a number. Pick a number.
Daddy owes you.
Daddy. Oh, Daddy. I don't know what to say. I think that Fox will be, I'm going to say 3.9 million.
All right.
Wow.
And Tucker Trump.
Well, Tucker Trump is, when does that drop again?
Tonight.
No. What time?
It's presumably before 9 o'clock.
But that's just it. If he says something wild, then it'll go viral. So that's harder for me because people might not watch it. So you mean in total?
Yeah.
I think the Trump Tucker thing, I think it'll exceed 6 million.
6 million.
In total.
Okay.
All right.
Right, because that's not live. People will start.
People can get it tomorrow.
People can consume it, right.
Of course. Just pull up his Twitter feed. There you go. It wasn't too difficult, was it?
Well, I started to look at what else is on, but that's just it. There's nothing.
No.
There's nothing else on. All the streaming stuff. There are no new shows.
Yeah.
It's like that lull. Normally, this is a lull, right, in between before the fall programming or whatever.
That's why I'm taking off next week.
Right, but there's nothing on right now
There you go.
with the writer's strike and so on.
That's
so
correct.
I think that bumps it up, and the fact that it is later. I think that first hour at 9 will get a hit.
All right. 855-839-1210, the number. Well, the hits keep on coming for the mainstream media when it comes to the negative coverage of the GOP. But just how bad is it? We've got those numbers on the other side. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Yeah, week 1 of the NFL season starts on September 10th. And your Philadelphia Eagles take on the New England Patriots at 4:25 on September 10th. Right now, the Eagles are favored by 4.5 for that first game. I would lock that in right now. I think that they're going to have no problem in New England against Mac Jones and the New England Patriots. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel Sportsbook in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. This is great. Sign up right now. FanDuel.com/Greg. FanDuel.com/Greg. There's no better time to get in on the action than the start of the NFL season. You can bet on it. You can bet on everything from spreads, player props, to over-unders, so much more. FanDuel.com/Greg. FanDuel is the official partner of the NFL and is also the official partner of 1210 WPHT. 21 and over. President PA. First online or money wager. Only $10 deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Chevy Summer Drive, now at Hessert Chevrolet. Drive the incredible 2023 Chevy Trailblazer LS, starting at $198 a month. We've got hundreds available and many ready to drive home today. The Chevy Summer Drive, right now at Hessert Chevrolet. Online at HessertChevy.com. Find new roads.
Your way or no way at Hessert Chevrolet.
2023 Chevrolet Trailblazer LS, 3749 down, 10,000 miles per year, 10 cents every mile over, 24 months, MSRP 23,585. Must qualify for Tier 1 leasing, GM Conquest, or loyalty program. Taxes, tags, and other fees not included. Offer expires 8/31/2023. See dealer for details.
Crash-Proof Retirement's consumer protection policies require oversight through video recordings on all consumer meetings, which are then kept on file, proving a full fiduciary responsibility to the highest level. In fact, Crash-Proof Retirement is the only firm in the country that exercises this level of transparency, which delivers peace of mind to the everyday consumer.
I'm Patty Parentozzi from Lansdale, Pennsylvania. The thing that impressed me with the Crash-Proof Retirement System is that all of the meetings that we have are recorded. It's very comforting to know that because everything is videotaped, they have nothing to hide. They're doing this to protect you. They want you to know that what they say they mean.
Find out what your advisor is hiding from you. Invite them to join you for a recorded meeting at Crash Proof Retirement and see if they stand by the promises they made you on camera in our consumer-driven offices. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Every business seeks an advantage, whether it's having the best location, hiring top talent, or spotting trends before they happen. And now, the United States Postal Service can give your business a new advantage. Introducing USPS Ground Advantage. Reliable and affordable 2 to 5 day package shipping. It's the advantage you need at the price you want. Get the Ground Advantage at USPS.com/advantage. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America.
Rich Cioli this afternoon, 3 till 7. Kayal and Company now on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Kayal and Company, 6:50. It's a Wednesday morning here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. You get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Cut sheet just about an hour away. Tony Bruno in hour number 3. Polling question at 1210WPHT. How will you consume tonight's debates? Right now, it's a runaway for neither at 47%, just Trump and Tucker at 41%, both at 10%, Fox 2%.
What do you make of the neither thing?
You're probably right. There's people that are just not ready for it.
But that's with Trump and Tucker as well, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. But again, summer vacations, back to school shopping, like Dawn was saying, there's just, there still is a lot of time. Like eventually we will no longer be able to say it's early, but it is still obviously early. So, this is probably more for the hardcores. But we do have some good responses. Melanie checks in. She says, I'm very interested in Vivek. I voted Trump both times and would again. Just don't know what will happen with all the BS. I like how Vivek talks to you, not at you, with actual answers and doesn't focus on himself. His personal story is something we can relate to, which I think is a really good point from Melanie, so we appreciate that tweet. Ben says, don't you mean the vice presidential debates? Which is very accurate.
That's a good line.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Alfred Q. Hollick says, here's how it's going to go.
Alfred Q. Hollick.
Yes.
Yeah.
He says, the moderators will ask some pointed policy question. Fatso Christie and Flyhead will attack Trump.
Oh, boy.
On Tucker's on Tucker's invisible X Twitter page, Trump will make fun of Christie and Pence and need to be restrained from making fun of Vivek's name. Sound right? Which I think would actually be quite compelling and funny. on many fronts. So I don't think that prediction and prognostication is too far off base.
Bob Irving says it would be hilarious when the candidate with the biggest bounce from the debate is the one who did not participate.
Yeah, very true.
I think he's right.
There you go. 855-839-1210, the number. I thought this was very interesting. It's not surprising, but sometimes when you see the percentages and you see the raw minutes that the lamestream media spends not covering stories that work against the left is very interesting. But also just the level of which they will go after the Republican Party and how much time they spend consumed up by the fact that they hate the GOP is very interesting. So a new study sheds light on how negative coverage has dominated the GOP primary race amongst newscasts on ABC, NBC, and CBS. So this goes for basically the first half of the year. Between January 1 and July 31, a whopping 90% of the coverage of former President Trump from evening newscasts on ABC, CBS, and NBC was negative, according to research from the conservative media watchdog Media Research Center, exclusively obtained by Fox. Trump's closest GOP rival, Ron DeSantis, received about 78% of negative coverage when his name was brought up on any of these telecasts. Meanwhile, the ABC World News Tonight, NBC Nightly News, and CBS Evening News offered considerably more favorable coverage, not surprisingly here, to former Vice President Mike Pence, who received just 57% of bad airtime. The study tallied the total amount of airtime the leading GOP candidates have received on newscasts from January through July. Here's the raw minute breakdown. You want to talk about Trump derangement syndrome? Here it is in a quantifiable number. Trump dominated with an astonishing 664 minutes, followed by DeSantis, who's actually trailing far worse than he is in the polls, with 126 minutes. That is a 538-minute difference between DeSantis and Trump. 664 minutes for Trump, 126 for DeSantis. Mike Pence got 63 minutes. Nikki Haley got 17 minutes. Tim Scott got 12 minutes. Chris Christie got 9 minutes, which is interesting because Chris Christie gets all the airtime he can possibly crave, yet only 9 minutes of it is negative. This is a guy who's in the Republican Party, technically. He's very moderate. You call him a rhino. You're absolutely right. And you'll get him all the time on all these outlets, especially ABC where he worked at. And only 9 minutes of negative coverage. Why? Because when he gets on, he just goes off on Trump and they gobble it up. They don't interrupt him and they let him just keep going and going and going. He's like the Energizer Bunny, except for banging the drum in the commercial. He's banging away on Donald Trump. It's just remarkable. And by the way, Doug Burgum, he received 30 seconds of coverage. Imagine getting 30 seconds of airtime in a 7-month stretch. I mean, you're almost non-existent. But again, the big takeaway with this is the Trump coverage compared to everybody else. And then Chris Christie, who probably, if you actually, I would love for this Media Research Center, this watchdog, to just tell us how many total minutes these people have had of airtime. Not when they're brought up by the anchors, but FaceTime themselves live either via satellite or sitting at a desk. Because I would be willing to bet Christie is right up there at the top, probably with Ramaswamy, yet there's major differences between Christie and Vivek. Vivek doesn't attack Trump. That's all Christie does. Vivek's conservative. Christie's very moderate. Yet one's a media darling, and the other guy in Vivek, he won't. I mean, Vivek was in here. When was he in here, Dawn? Was he with you or was he with Dom earlier this summer when he was? Remember he showed up to Kensington?
Yes. So he called in because he was at a CNN rally. I think it was Smirkanish, if I'm not mistaken, in Conshohocken, I think.
Okay.
And then he was in Kensington having so he had a series of town halls. So he called into my show. Later, I think he was in person with maybe Dom and Rich, as I recall. Then I was with him at the Union League and Kathy Barnett in person for a wonderful town hall that was very solution based. He didn't seem like a politician stumping, but rather talking about solutions, taking Q&A from the crowd and really interacting with people. But that was, what was that, a month ago? It's flying by.
It was either late June or mid-July, somewhere in that stretch, early July. Yeah, I like the way you frame that, though, solution-based. I think that's a great way to characterize the way he presents all of his political ideologies or the way he engages with even those who disagree. Like, he'll hear you out, and then he'll say, okay, well, this is my opinion. And, oh, by the way, not only is it my opinion, here's how we'll get things done. And he rattles them off almost in bullet point fashion.
And to your point, I think that you think about, and I should have asked him this, but at 37, just turned 38 this month, and you think, this is a guy in business, yes, New York Times bestseller, Woke Inc., etc., worth $400+ million, grew up in Ohio, not for money, not connected in any way, shape, or form. But did the presidency of Donald J. Trump inspire business people like this to jump in at the presidential level?
It's a great question.
And I remember, when I left Fox 29 here, I met with both Democrats and Republicans in the area who wanted me to run for office, which was a huge compliment. And there were questions, would I run for something?
I didn't know that.
And one of the questions, they were like, I still have a campaign sign in my garage. It's a hoot. But the funny piece of it is that one of the questions was, well, you've never been in politics. You've never run for anything. And so now that question is less and less because of Donald J. Trump, because he jumped in at that level, even though he was famous and all of that. And so to me, I think that's a good thing, because that's the way the founding fathers wanted it, that you would build your business. You would do something else. And whether you're a carpenter, a business person, a plumber, whatever, broadcaster, then you serve in the public sector, then you get out, right? You serve 1 or 2 terms and you get out and let somebody else do their public service. So I love that theme, that a Vivek Ramaswamy would be inspired to do that. And I do wonder if somebody like Trump paved that path for him to jump in and have a moment where he can have credibility. Well, helps if you're rich.
Yeah, you got to have money. It certainly matters. But I'll tell you what, if you ever run for office, especially the president, I'll be your VP. I would make a great first lady. I'm just telling you.
So you wouldn't mind if the woman was at the top?
No, not at all. 855-839-1210 is the phone number. Coming up next, a 4-day work week in Pennsylvania without a pay cut. The details on the way. It's Kayal and Company.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I'm asking about Prevnar 20 because there's a chance pneumococcal pneumonia could put me in the hospital.
Age 65 or older, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I want to be able to keep my plans.
So I'm asking my doctor about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
So many listeners are enjoying beautiful, easy-to-maintain homes thanks to Rhino Shield, and you can too. Dom Giordano here with my good friend, the local owner of Rhino Shield. John, take it away.
John from Rhino Shield here, reminding you that when it comes to painting your home, there is a better way. We all know that traditional paint just doesn't last, and that's why painters only offer a 1-year guarantee. But Rhino Shield is different. Our elastomeric ceramic house paint is warranted for 25 years, so you'll never paint again. Don't spend your money on regular paint that just doesn't last. Invest instead in a product that will protect your home and look beautiful for years to come. Let Rhino Shield show you how you can be done with frequent painting. Call us today at 406-5111 for a free consultation, or find us online at www.myrhinoshield.com.
The PBP, Voices of Baseball, is a podcast about the art and craft of play-by-play, and we're in the middle of an amazing season. Catch up on episodes with Joe Buck, Joe Davis, Pat Hughes, and more, and learn along with me, Matt Spiegel, how the job is done.
It's not just home run Bryce Harper in the Phillies lead. To really do it justice, you got to widen the lens. What does this home run mean?
The PBP, Voices of Baseball. I bring you the people who bring you the game. Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast.
Does your knee pain keep getting worse? How about that pain in your shoulder or hip or your back? Don't let them tell you steroids and surgery are your only option. Take my advice now. Call QC Kinetics. Dawn Stensland here. You know, QC Kinetics can make that pain go away with all-natural advanced regenerative medicine. And they're helping people here in the Philadelphia region every single day with these amazing natural treatments which restore and repair damaged joint tissue. It's like turning back the clock. Regenerative medicine uses concentrated healing agents from your own body, which stimulate that damaged tissue in your joints so they can work like they're supposed to. Zero downtime. How about that? This is a remarkable option. You need to check it out, and the consultation's free. Just call QC Kinetics now. 215-999-3000. Would you just call QC Kinetics? Call them today. 215-999-3000. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Calling on Percy to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app.
Download it now.
Being beat up and battered around, being sent up and I've been shut down. You're the best thing that I've ever found.
Kayal and Company, hour number 2 underway. It's 7:05 here on this Wednesday morning. Great to have all of you aboard. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Nick Kayal, Dawn Stensland, Greg Stocker. Cut sheet coming up at 7:45. Tony Bruno at 8:20 live from Florida. Very interesting couple of days that we have in store. Trump, Tucker should drop in the evening hours this evening on Twitter, now called X. Fox News primary debate in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, coming up at 9 o'clock this evening. Reaction tomorrow. Trump expected to turn himself in Atlanta, in Fulton County, tomorrow as well. And we've got details on that coming up in the third hour of the show. But before we get to this Pennsylvania lawmaker proposal about the 4-day work week, let's get some news. Round number 2, 7:06 on a Wednesday. And for that, we go to the great Dawn Stensland.
And good morning this Wednesday morning, August 23rd. Still in the 60s, this crisp morning. Beautiful sunrise this morning, sponsored by Holland Floor Covering. So in the news, a state correctional officer who shot another suspect in her defense, in self-defense. That's the report. She's in stable condition this morning. So a carjacker, attempted carjacker, had no idea when he approached her, according to authorities, as she was pumping gas in North Philadelphia, that in fact she was an armed state corrections officer, a woman who knew how to defend herself, pumping gas. This guy, she's a 35-year-old woman. That's what we know about her. She was putting the gas in her BMW, and that's when this guy approaches her and grabs her and is trying to carjack her. She fights back, and then shots are fired. They both had a firearm. So in the end, 11 shots fired, and officers patrolling nearby heard the gunfire and immediately responded, got there very quickly. So she was shot twice in her leg. That 22-year-old attempted carjacking suspect shot twice in the lower back and the leg, and both, as I say, in stable condition in the hospital. Obviously, this guy facing some very serious charges. I don't know if she was uniformed coming from work or heading to work. I don't have that information.
Well, if she was, that takes a lot of stones to approach somebody, especially in uniform, knowing that they are law enforcement.
Yeah, well said. We'll definitely follow up on that one. The COPC, that's the new Citizens Police Commission, calling for a Philadelphia policeman to be terminated following a fatal shooting during a traffic stop of 27-year-old Eddie Irizarry. This happened a week and a half ago. There's new video that was released by the family yesterday, and that shows the headline of the Inquirer. New video shows Philadelphia police shot Eddie Irizarry within seconds of getting out of a patrol car. 5 seconds, they say. And so many this is on the front of the Inquirer. So many calls this morning to fire this individual. DA Krasner did not want to release that video, the body cam video that we've talked a lot about. And the family had held a news conference yesterday with their attorney. They've released some video. So we are expecting much more information that the officer, who I'm not naming at this point, he is not being charged. His name is being put out there, concerns for his safety, as well as the safety of his family from many sources. So he is expected to be suspended for 30 days with intent to dismiss following that deadly August 14 shooting.
Okay.
I don't have all the details of it. You can look at the video for yourself. But we know that 1 o'clock we will learn more. Speaking of follow-ups, a Kayal & Company News follow-up report. Remember, and Nick, you had talked a lot about this. We had all talked a lot about what's going on at Thomas Jefferson University.
Oh, with our professor.
Yes. So we have the head of the medical school, the dean of the medical school there, who was under fire. And the Inquirer kept putting this out there on the front for, weeks, talking about the fact that he had, in fact, liked or bookmarked some so-called controversial tweets.
Yeah, about COVID.
And about transgender surgery for children.
So he's a common sense, logical adult, and that's fireable these days. I got you.
So this was all because medical school students apparently, they were raising concerns about diversity after Dr. Mark Tykaczynski, the college's former dean and president, he had liked those controversial tweets about COVID-19 vaccines, gender-affirming surgery for children, diversity efforts, etc. And so after they had raised these concerns, ultimately they couldn't fire him because he's a professor, so he's just a professor now.
Okay.
But as you talked about, this is a man with an impeccable record, I believe 70 years old, and somebody who's also an immunologist.
Yeah. Highly qualified to talk about the subject matter that he is liking and bookmarking on Twitter. Imagine living your life being triggered and outraged by somebody liking a post on Twitter.
The Inquirer writes that Dr. Tykaczynski's actions harmed students. They're quoting some students on campus that say that this doctor harmed students' trust in the institution's commitment to its mission. So now they're announcing the hiring of Dr. Saeed A. Ibrahim, who's a physician with a background in internal medicine, public health, etc. And so he will be the next dean of the Sidney Kimmel Medical College. Obviously an esteemed gentleman and doctor, but they are saying that he have a picture on the front of the Inquirer saying that he would be the first black dean of their and represents diversity. So that's a big headline.
So just to make sure I understand this, students lost trust in the professor for the like tweets, but Americans that lose trust in their institutions day by day during COVID, that's okay.
Well said.
Just checking. I got to keep up with these things, Dawn. I mean, they change the rules every day on me around here.
That's your Kayal & Company follow-up. Obviously, the headlines that we're talking about, all eyes on Milwaukee, 9 o'clock tonight. First GOP debate, 9 o'clock, sans Trump. Rudy Giuliani today, expected to turn himself in Fulton County, Georgia. We've been talking about that this morning. NBC 10 first alert forecast. It's a beauty. So in the low 60s this morning, a gorgeous sunrise, clear skies. This afternoon, well, I should say partly cloudy skies. For the Phils game, 4:05, it's a treat because it'll have lower humidity, but 79-ish for the 4:05 game, and a beautiful day. However, tomorrow turns rainy and only 73 degrees for your tomorrow, for your Thursday. So some rain moving through, cooling us off for Thursday, Friday. It looks like the weekend will warm up to the 80s with partly sunny weather. And that's your NBC 10 First Alert forecast. We're sponsored by Holland Floor Covering, the region's premier flooring dealer, family operated for more than 50 years, providing exceptional service and professional installation. Visit their 2 showrooms, Wayne and Newtown. No charge samples, no obligation estimates. Learn more, hollandfloor.com. This is Kayal and Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 7:13 Wednesday morning as we continue what's on the cut sheet in just about a half hour. But this is a very interesting story when it comes to right here in the Keystone State. Pennsylvania lawmaker to introduce 4-day work week bill with no pay reduction. Workers at many Pennsylvania businesses could be looking at a 4-day work week as a state legislator says that she will introduce a bill to shorten the work week without reducing workers' pay. I would like to call this the Work Smarter, Not Harder bill, but this is from Democratic Rep. Ronnie Green, who serves as a part of the Philadelphia County, says that she will soon introduce legislation requiring businesses with more than 500 employees to reduce their work hours from 40 hours a week to 32 hours per week without reducing employee pay. My proposal, and I'm not against this, but my proposal would be, well, what about just doing a 4-day work week with 10-hour days? Because I think many Americans that go into work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, 8 to 5, 30-minute lunch, hour lunch, whatever it is, would not be opposed. And I know there are some people that do work 4 10-hour shifts, and then they get 3 days off. The legislation would exclude small and mid-sized companies, Green said in a memorandum that was posted just last week on August the 15th. The 40-hour work week was actually established in 1938. Now, Green says this no longer matches societal needs. I disagree with that. What about production needs? What about consumer needs, especially post-COVID, where it still seems like there are some industries that are affected by distribution chains, supply and demand. But what about a business's bottom line? I mean, if I owned a company with over 500 employees, I mean, I would say, okay, I'll entertain you on 4 days for 10-hour days. But here's the thing. I actually think 4 8-hour shifts is doable without a dip in production under one pretext. And this would be very difficult for many Americans. No phones. No, you're not allowed on your phone. Put your phone in the locker. No social media. No scrolling. No swiping. I'm just wondering how many people that work at a desk job, 9 to 5, how much screen time they spend on their phone in between job tasks. That, to me, would be the big caveat. I think this is probably doable, but I want to get your thoughts on this. Are you guys down with this? And would we actually have to do the show Fridays from home? Or would there even be a Friday show?
Well, I'm thinking that if you're a Philadelphia police officer who's already working 12-hour shifts, especially Friday and Saturday nights,
yeah,
maybe that's a new recruitment situation. Hey, work three days, 12-hour shifts, and then a half day somewhere, and then have the rest of your time to yourself.
It's a good question as far as, I mean, the civil service jobs out there, the jobs that are deemed, what was the phrase we used during the pandemic? Essential?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
essential workers.
Does this apply to essential workers that work in a spot with over 500 employees?
No.
I can't imagine it would.
This is so, and this kind of a story, I think if you're driving a truck, whether it's local delivery or across our highways, you're a trucker, you're a police officer, you're a firefighter, EMT.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, so many jobs, if you're an educator, if you're a teacher, you're a kindergarten teacher.
Right.
Those are, these are jobs that you don't have that choice. You don't have that luxury. And they're jobs that are, require you to be on when you're on the job. There's no shopping on Amazon,
right.
In a moment or whatever. So it's just an insult to especially those who protect and serve. It's just an insult.
Yeah.
And it's like this privileged class, the same individuals who are making, 125 G's in the suburbs in their privileged job that took out a student loan that Biden wants to forgive their loan. That's who this is aimed toward. And the working person. You know, this morning when I came in, you know how we have all the construction around us?
Oh, of course.
And that they were blaring the Oliver Anthony song and Jason Aldean. That's what they were blaring.
Were they really?
Yeah.
Good for them.
And I loved it.
Yes.
I wanted to I'm like giving them a thumbs up.
Yeah.
But I think that's the anthem for, guys who are coming in at 5, 6 in the morning, working all day in construction, or officers driving around getting shot at daily.
Mm-hmm.
Barbara writes, Nick, if you take my phone away, I won't be able to listen or watch the show.
I'd like to redact that from the records, folks.
That's true. If we
yes.
take people's phones away, we're
That's
not,
true.
That's
true.
Our livelihood depends on people like Barbara listening to us to and from work,
Very
maybe
true.
at work, watching us on YouTube.
Correct.
Whatever. I just think we waste so much time at work.
I
Not
know.
us, but the average person wastes so much time at work because, there's only so much you can do. So, like, if a 4-day work week makes you more productive, like, hey, these are all your tasks this week. You have to get them done by Thursday. And if you do, have a 3-day weekend, people, I think, will be more productive at work.
It's the way people make, whether they waste time or make the most of their time. And you mentioned the device. And this is, I've had this opinion for a long time. Like when I send a message to somebody and they don't get back to me and they say, I was busy, or I didn't have time, or I didn't see it. I just don't buy that as an excuse, because Americans can't put their phone down. So if I know for a fact that you're a constant cell phone user, you should never have that as an excuse. But, in the workplace itself, you're right. Like, I mean, I'm trying to think of a job where you can actually, I guess sales reps, desk jobs, people that make cold calls, let's say, like, I have one of my buddies who works for one of the big corporate payroll companies. And he's got like goals he has to hit each day. He's got to make 65 calls.
Sure.
He's got to close 5 deals a week. And like, I'm sorry. And I've worked in that. I used to work at ADP for like 6 months when I was out of radio. And there would be people, and I think our call number for each day was 80 calls. And they weren't complete cold calls. You had leads, you had lists. And I would get through like 25 calls, because a lot of times nobody answers or you leave a message. And it would be like 9:15. And I'm like, all right, I better slow down. I'm here till 5 o'clock anyway.
Yes, exactly.
So I better pace myself.
Exactly.
So the people that say, well, I only got 47 calls. Well, your goal was 80. What the hell were you doing for 8 hours?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what people do at work other than constantly look at their phone. You can only go in your snack drawer so many times before you explode, right? You can only use the bathroom so many times. You're not allowed to be chirping with the person in the cubicle next to you, because you don't want your manager to come walking down and be like, hey, get your headset back on and make a call. So I don't understand why people can't get through the requirements of a workday. I think we're just very preoccupied with low attention spans, and that's why we deviate away and we get distracted. So that's a very interesting story.
Renee writes, most people that I know already work 10-hour days. If a 4-day work week happens, their employers will suffer. I don't believe.
What, for overtime, time and a half?
I don't believe that. I think that you hire the right people that will get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
And if it takes them 3 days to get the job done, 5 days to get the job done, whatever it is, then as long as they get the job done, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, as a manager, there's no time clock here.
Right.
But like, our time clock is our ratings and revenue and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if we're performing and we're doing well, like, I don't care how long you spend on show prep or whatever.
Well,
you know
and
what I mean?
that's interesting, because a lot of people, there are other elements where you have a job that you do work from home. Like, I'm not here 8 hours a day. I'm not preparing for tomorrow's show in a cubicle down the hall here. Like, I'm preparing for the show at 3 o'clock in the afternoon from home, and again at 7 o'clock at night from home before I go to bed. But, in this setting here, we're with all of our radio stations, all 6 of them, we have sales reps. They're only here once or twice a week. If you're here, they're like, you're probably doing something wrong.
But they shouldn't be here. Exactly.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like they should be out doing what they're, paid to do,
Yeah,
which is
getting me a golf deal.
Sell us, sell some advertising.
Yes.
Our old 1210.
Exactly. Which, by the way, I don't know, with this rule, 500 or more employees, I think that would qualify for Odyssey Philadelphia. I mean, KYW's got 320 employees themselves.
It takes a lot, like, to be honest with you, it takes a lot to run a news station.
It does.
It also takes a lot to run a live and local talk show or a talk station.
Right.
I wish we had the help that they did. But, it's all good.
But I have a friend who lives here in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Was looking for a different job. Just got hired by a biggity big tech cybersecurity kind of company that's based out in San Francisco. So they did a nationwide search. Oh gosh, I'm losing my voice.
Oh no.
They did a nationwide search. Sorry. And they hired him. He never has to obviously go in. The office is in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have meetings and, Zooms and all of that. So essentially, he'll work here. He has a side business, and it's really the new, and he's somebody who's in his late 30s,
Mm-hmm.
and he's making six figures, and that's not even with the side job. So I do see a lot of people, this is reinventing the work model
Mm-hmm.
and allowing people, maybe the job you have is something that you're good at, but
Yeah.
maybe it's not your love.
How much of this has to do with mental health as well?
Yeah.
I was thinking about that last night because there's a lot of people that are stressed out over their job, their quota, their goals, or just the rigors of the day-to-day job, the driving, the commutes, bosses, coworkers, work environments, HR, you name it. I wonder if this is also just with the more wide acceptance of mental health, especially post-pandemic, if employers truly are actually worried about the well-being of their staff. Because I guess the argument would be, well, if you get 3 days off a week, you're going to have a better work-life balance.
Yeah, I think you're right. And also the issue of commuting. And think about it. If you're in a company, depending on the company, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but if you can, instead of just looking to move somebody, the expense of moving somebody, if you can say, hey, we're based in Philadelphia, but you can work remotely, now your potential hiring pool is nationwide.
Correct.
And then is it worldwide?
Very good
That's the
question.
next question.
Yes.
And so this is, I think, reinventing us. I think it's not necessarily good for big cities
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people say, you know what, I'm going to move to North Carolina. I'm going to move to Texas, Florida, Arizona, whatever, or a rural place where I can get some land because I'm working from home.
That's correct. Why do you think I want to do the show from Florida? But Greg won't let me. And we have the technology to do it, dang it. 855-839-1210 is the number. BA.2.86.
Uh-oh, what is that?
What?
I think you're the winner. Is there a BA 2.86?
It's not bingo.
That's not correct. We've got details on the other side. Get ready, folks, and get ready to cover up. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey Philly, are you looking for a great deal on a new Infiniti? Well, look no further than the Bush Auto Group. They have two Infiniti dealerships conveniently located in Westchester and Ardmore, PA. And this month only, you could score rates as low as 2.9% on select vehicles. And every vehicle purchase comes with over $3,000 in bonus value to help drive down the cost of vehicle ownership. Trust me when I say this, if you want to ride in style and save some serious cash, the Bush Auto Group's where it's at. Visit in-store or online today at bushautogroup.com. And remember, Philly rides with us.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here to talk about my friends at Family and Company Jewelers in Marlton, New Jersey. You've heard me talking about them nonstop, but now is the time to pay them a visit. Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey. If you're shopping for the perfect engagement ring, look no further. They have the top 5-star rating on Google with over 2,000 reviews. No one else comes close to that. Get the right ring. A ring from Family and Company Jewelers. Family and Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
Your official home for Penn State football and basketball is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app. Listen to every Nittany Lions game on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
Volvo Finance, in concert with Cherry Hill Volvo, is offering lease and cash bonuses up to $2,500. Purchase or lease a new XC40 or XC90 through Volvo Finance and through Cherry Hill Volvo and receive this additional bonus along with the aggressive pricing already posted on our Cherry Hill Volvo website. This is a special offer and it is not to be missed. Volvo Finance and Cherry Hill Volvo and you, a perfect partnership.
This is Larry Steinhaus of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Tune in to Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Phil Cannella and Joanne Small. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210.
My partners had told me I should get my knee replaced. I was in my 40s, and I decided that I wouldn't do that.
That's orthopedic surgeon Dr. John Herzog, who found regenerative medicine years ago and became a believer.
It changed my life around. It improved me to a point where I was able to jog again.
That's when Dr. Herzog switched his focus from surgery to helping his patients with natural biologics.
I've treated at least 5,000 patients. I believe your body has everything it needs to heal itself.
Today, you'll find Dr. Herzog at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in this exciting field of medicine that can give lasting pain relief with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery.
I have patients coming up to me that I did 10 years ago saying, you know, Doc, my elbow's still working great. I'm playing tennis 3 days a week.
Call QC Kinetics now to explore alternative ways to deal with your pain. It's a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
Keep free speech alive. Follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Kayal and Company, welcome back in. It is a Wednesday, and we're live here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. What's on the cut sheet coming up at 7:45? Tony Bruno at 8:20. Your chance to win more Reading Phillies tickets for September 3rd at 9:20. So we've got you all morning long. 855-839-1210, the phone number. You can get us on Twitter and Instagram at 1210WPHT. Watch us on YouTube. Listen to us on the free Odyssey app. I just realized we have down in the kitchen, in addition to the medicine cabinet, we have glasses wipes, which I never knew we had. So I clean my glasses off. I always use like a little rag I bring in, one of those little cloths. We've got like some rags down there for us.
Fascinating.
Good stuff.
Leave your rag at home.
Exactly. That's what I tell people all the time. Come in here and be ready to go. Because we
start at 6 a.m.
Damn right. All right, so now serving BA 2.86. Oh, that would be me. I'll take a half pound of the COVID sliced very thin, Timmy. Look at this. What a story this is. It's not only happening, folks, in movies in Hollywood. It's happening in colleges. Masks are coming back.
Yep.
And we've been telling you to get ready for this, that this was going to happen. I was on record last week and 2 weeks ago and a month ago. Don't be surprised in the least when Johnny and Tabitha come home for Thanksgiving break. If you get a phone call from the school or an email or however the schools communicate these days, mass text messages, automated voicemails, that they will go to a 7, 5, 10-day mask prevention upon return from the holiday break after you have congregational settings with family members. That is going to happen because now we have a new variant which is spreading in the U.S., and we've got 2 cases. Yes, 2. In a nation of 340 million Americans, the U.S. has now spotted 2 infections of the BA.2.86 COVID strain that apparently is, and this is always the contradicting part of this, it's alarming scientists. However, COVID cases remain at near historic lows. So we're scared, we're petrified.
Yeah.
But gosh darn it, they're as low as they could possibly be.
Yeah, it's nothing to be afraid of, but we're just warning you. There's
Right.
no other reason that we're saying this, just to warn you.
That is correct. Hospital admissions up for the 5th consecutive week, and now it's got to the point where colleges and Hollywood are hitting the panic button. We have Morris Brown College, which recently announced new mandates saying that all students and employees are required to wear face masks. The Biden administration is also ramping up the COVID rhetoric, saying, quote, "We will be encouraging all Americans to get those boosters in addition to flu shots and respiratory syncytial virus shots."
That too.
RSV for short.
By the way, Morris Brown College, Atlanta, think of Georgia, so...
Okay. So
Atlanta
like,
school reinstate the one you said was reinstating masks.
So maybe like once Trump's indicted in Fulton County, he can swing by Morris Brown, do a speech, put a mask on, and get back on Trump Force One.
I could be wrong. Is that an African American college?
That I don't know. Not sure. I've never even heard of Morris Brown College. I would assume it's just a small school, but
I think I saw that. I could be
okay.
wrong.
And then in Hollywood, you've heard of Lionsgate Entertainment, Lionsgate Studios, a major Hollywood production. They are bringing back mask mandates to nearly half of its employees amid a spike in COVID cases. They come out, and you have a manager for Lionsgate and Stars Entertainment, Summer McElroy, who says employees must wear a medical-grade face covering, surgical mask, KN95, or N95 when indoors, except when alone in an office with the door closed, actively eating, actively drinking at their desk or workstation, or if they are the only individual present in a large open workspace. So, if you have one of those offices where you actually have a door and you can close it, you can take your mask off. But when you come out and you head down to the printer,
I can't believe we're doing this.
Throw it back on.
August of 2023. It's crazy.
I mean, we have seen far more evidence that shows masks made very little to no impact than we have any distinct study from any credible source that says masks absolutely work. Yet they go back to it. And of course, more boosters, more shots, more vaccines. And of course, you are looking at the calendar. Well, it's August of 2023. Okay, what's coming up 14 months? Oh, it's election season again. I truly do believe this, that they would love to have virtual schooling again. They would love to have reduced workplace environments, working remotely, more mail-in ballots. I mean, we're looking at this agency right here in this study I'm giving to you. And this is, and look, it usually starts in New York or LA or San Francisco. And then there's the trickle-down effect. Here comes Chicago. Here comes Boston. Here comes Philadelphia. All the big blue cities, one by one, lining up. But the LA County Department of Public Health just reported, quote, overall metrics remain at a very low level of concern. So I don't understand why we have to continually bang this drum. This thing is never going away. And here's the thing that I think everybody should agree with. And I know we don't agree on everything in this society, in this life, and I'm fine with that. That's what makes America great. But we are all being told every one of these mutations, these variants, yes, they're more transmissible, but they're not worse. They're not more deadly. They're not more symptomatic. Your cough is not stronger. Your shortness of breath is not longer. Your chills aren't worse. Your headache isn't more extreme. All it is a lesser version of the deadly one. So, and then we're going, and I've seen this verbiage thrown out there. We're going to go back to contact tracing. All right, I was in the pool from 2 to 4. I swung by the library for 30 minutes. I had lunch with Johnny at Arby's. So if you were in contact with me in any of those places, you should go to Walgreens and get a test.
I thought you were going to say if you're in the pool, who weed in the pool. That would be a good contact tracing. We want to know who did that.
I'm always petrified of that, by the way, because some pools have that dark blue stuff where it's, you're surrounded by, you're like, oh, damn, it was me.
By the way, that is a farce. That doesn't actually.
No?
It's not actually a thing. No.
What, the dark blue water?
People say that.
I thought there was like a little supplement you could put in there.
I thought some people did have it, but I told my kids that. I always tell my kids that.
Yeah, people tell their kids that so they don't pee in the pool.
Just like we say, there could be a razor blade in that dark chocolate you got for Halloween. So mommy has to,
let me
has
see
to
that.
check the
Let
candy.
me see that Snickers bar.
Yeah, we're gonna do contract. Like it's gonna be. This fall. It's just gonna get worse too. It's just going to get worse as we get closer to 2024.
You know what? I just think parents. I'll tell you what. They start doing that in the schools here. Parents are like the bus driver. They've had it.
Yeah.
Do you hear me?
I mean, honestly, I'm fine if you want to make it optional.
Yeah.
Like if you want to have your kid in a mask, and that's really what I care about more than anything is the kids, because as an adult, as a young healthy adult, I'm not wearing the darn thing. If the elderly population, the high risk population want to wear it, I'm not going to knock you for that. Go ahead. If it makes you 1% healthier, if it gives you 10% more peace of mind, okay, have a blast. But we're going to do this again.
Yeah.
To second graders, to fifth graders.
No.
Parents aren't going to stand.
Nope,
Most parents
not gonna
won't.
have
I shouldn't say all. Most parents won't stand for it. There will be some that fall in line.
And if they, like you said, if they want to do it, I will say what we all learned about droplets with everything. The mask actually, if you have a cold or I think the flu, a mask and you're coming back to work after a few, and you want to mask up because you're recovering from this, the mask actually works for those droplets.
Okay.
But unless you're wearing the medical mask and you're wearing it and you squish it down in your nose and with COVID, we learned that those droplets are sort of teeny weeny, not going to help.
Yeah. And then you have the people, like you said, wearing it properly. The amount of people, I still see that. I just saw it at the grocery store. One lady was wearing it like a chin strap. I'm like, wait, are you getting ready for football practice? So you got double sessions coming up? Where's your helmet at? You got the chin strap on. Where's your mouthpiece and helmet? Like, if you're going to wear this stinking thing for whatever reason that you believe it will help you, then I would suggest you at least wear it properly. And also, don't be mad at me when I can't hear you because you're what was that? And they got to take the mask down. Like I'm sorry, my ears work perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And I can't understand what you're saying.
Well, just think about that, what you're saying. And then I don't know if your daughters experienced this in school, but for children trying to hear the teacher. And I know some teachers found they do have a theater mask that's clear, that's CDC approved.
Some would argue it's all theater.
Oh, but I'm bumped.
See
Good
what
one.
I did there? Yeah.
Good one.
This is the second straight school year that my daughters have not had to deal with any ridiculousness. Third grade last year was the first year, no masks, no remote learning. This is now the second year that they've started, and they went back August. I think they're in week number 3.
Wow.
And I gotta believe that if it's and Nashville is very progressive from all the transplants,
But it's still Tennessee.
but it's still Tennessee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it's Blue City, major red state.
Yep.
They will probably adopt some of those things, and it's the teachers union that'll push for it. It's the Randy Weingardens, it's the liberals that teach, that educate, that are going to be worried. Well, I don't want to get it from your kid, and then we're going to go through the whole song and dance again.
So for your little girls, they were first and second grade masked, but kindergarten.
No, kindergarten they were too.
Oh,
they started
right.
kindergarten in the fall of 19, and then by March of 20, The second half of the kindergarten school year is when they got disrupted. First grade was disrupted. Second grade was disrupted, but kind of trending back to normal. Last year, third grade, completely normal. Fourth grade this year so far, completely normal. But knock on wood. But, like I said, it's coming. The holidays will be here.
You wonder on kids, even your girls' ages, how that manifests in their lives, how it impacts them. And I do wonder that kids of all ages, whether they have a rebellious spirit to think this was silly to do this in school, whether it made them more sheep-like as followers. I don't have the answers, but I do wonder what is the impact on kids.
Probably comes from their parents, I would think,
scared
right?
the living S out of
Well,
them.
that too. Yeah.
And it's our fault. Not us, not the three of us. I mean, the parents. It's collectively the parents' fault for saying, no, don't, wait, hang on, don't get too close to Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny's coughing.
Yes.
Watch out.
Well, and then the best part of it all is, and again, I don't know if some of these kids are immune system suppressed or whatever, but I see, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, I see a parent who's very big. I see a mom or a dad that's walking around 265 pounds at 5'5", and then the kid who's 7 years old is wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe the kid's got some issues, so I don't want to speak out of turn. But if the kid's healthy and you obviously look like you're not, maybe you should wear the mask and let little Skippy, eat his Skittles. I don't know. I just observe society, folks. That's all I do.
I think on the I'm sorry.
No, go.
On the other hand, for I think middle school age kids and boys, maybe this is part of why we see the one poll that we talked about, I think last week, where they've never seen this amount of boys, even middle school, high school, who are Republican at heart, who at a young age are saying, nope, I'm a conservative. Maybe that's a piece of this. I know for my youngest son, he still talks about the fact, because the gyms were shut down, but there was one gym in the suburbs that they still found a way. They all worked out. And he still says, like, I lost those years. I could have been working out. And blah, 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 blah. And so for the kids who saw other kids who, their parents, we didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't because we didn't know.
The age of the kid matters. Like, my daughters probably won't remember kindergarten, first, second grade masks. But for, like, your kids, I mean, if you were a sophomore, junior, and senior in high school, from 2020 to 2022?
No, David was in middle school.
Okay.
7th and 8th grade.
You don't think your daughters will remember? I mean, I remember first, second, and third grade.
I don't recall much about kindergarten through second, other than I can name my teachers. I don't really recall the specifics of what was going on.
Yeah, but if you had to wear a mask, you would have remembered that.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I don't know. Kids, I now say I was that hands-on mom. I did everything.
Shocking.
But they don't remember it. They just remember, like, when I was on afternoons with Zioli and I wasn't there till 7:30 at night. That's when they start remembering it, in middle school. So I always say, nobody's going to remember anyway.
Yeah, but I feel for the high school kids. Like, your prom got canceled.
Yeah.
Your senior year of sports was disrupted. Like, those are the kind of things that I think stay with you for a long time. I mean, kids are resilient. You eventually, hopefully, get over it. But it's the more impactful stuff, like the scores. Reading scores, math scores, virtual learning is a facade. We realize that it does not work, not at the same level as in-person instruction. So, well, there you go. That's the latest with COVID, with Hollywood, with colleges, and coming to a school district near you this fall.
Oh my goodness.
The return of masks. You heard it here first.
By the way, Morris Brown College that Greg said, it is the only, I think it was founded in the 1800s.
Okay.
Founded by the Black Episcopal Church. Founded by African Americans for African Americans, so it's a traditionally
Is it
black.
an HBCU?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay,
Yeah.
Gotcha. There you go. All right,
Stocker very rarely wrong.
So look at
That's
that.
true.
The Stalker Files.
Oh, I like that.
Yes.
Stalker Files.
Yes, factual to a T. 7:46. Let's get to what's on the cut sheet.
What's on the cut sheet?
What's on the cut sheet on this Wednesday is brought to you by our good friends at Cherry Hill Volvo, where they have ample inventory of brand new and beautiful pre-owned Volvos. Enjoy the luxury experience you deserve. They always go the extra mile for their customers because relationships matter at Cherry Hill Volvo. Check them out on Route 70 in Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter. Tell them you heard about them on 1210 WPHT and thank them for being a loyal sponsor for so many years. All right, let's get to the kids, shall we? But this is not what you guys were just talking about. This is a trans activist on TikTok saying that kids can know they are transgender, and if a toddler tells you they're trans, believe them.
Okay. 3-year-old says, Daddy, I'm actually a girl, believe him.
Yeah, if you're watching youtube.com/@1210WPHT, if you want to watch these videos, too. By the way, we're like 19 likes away from 100, so please hit the like button if you're watching right now. But you can see this this man dressed up as a woman telling you to, if your toddler, your 4-year-old thinks he or she is the opposite gender, believe them. Cut one.
When a kid tells you that they're transgender, believe them. A lot of people will say that it's impossible for a 4-year-old to know if they're trans or not. But actually, that's not true. They can.
Can I stop this, Nick?
Nose rings.
Can you describe this for the people that can't watch this on
YouTube? Nice shade of brown hair, not the traditional purple, so that's a quality look. You earn points for that. Cranberry-colored eyeglasses, very unique approach. And it looks like a 3-pronged nose ring. I've got the hoop and then the double-studded nostril, which is kind of like Bebop and Rocksteady from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with that big bullhorn in there. It's a good look. You can tug on it when you're hanging out with her.
Oh, what?
Yeah, instead of tucking it, you can tug it.
Okay.
It's like...
Daniel, I'm going to start that video over, if you don't mind, because I very rudely interrupted it, which I am known to do, and I apologize for that.
Yes.
I'm starting over.
When a kid tells you that they're transgender, believe them. A lot of people will say that it's impossible for a 4-year-old to know if they're trans or not. But actually, that's not true. They can know, and here's why. From day one, gender is baked into everything we do. Either have a boy name or a girl name. Boy toys or girl toys. Boy clothes or girl clothes. So from an early age, kids understand the difference between boy and girl, and more importantly, which one they're expected to be. So it makes sense that if what they feel inside is different than what they're expected to be, then they might feel uncomfortable. And they might want to talk about that discomfort. And we all know that kids are good at talking about how they feel. For example, Mommy, I skinned my knee. Mommy, someone called me a name on the playground. Or even, Mommy, I don't like wearing boy clothes. These are all similar feelings of discomfort that we can talk about to our parents. That's not to say that all kids will realize they're transgender when they're little. A lot don't. I didn't until I was 27, but I can't tell you how many people I've met that knew they were trans at 4 or 5 years old. So if there's a kid in your life who's telling you they're trans, please believe them. They know what they're talking about, and your support might save their life.
All right, so Mark or Barbara had a mental health breakdown at 27 years old as opposed to 4 or 5. Good look with the choker necklace, by the way. It's a solid look, and the strawberry top dress is a nice little finishing touch to it. So if it's baked in from day one, boys do this, girls do that, boys wear this, girls wear that, it seems like it's been baked in on a factual basis of one of two options. Did I blow up his whole case in 9 seconds?
I don't know.
I like how it's always baked into, by the way, with the eggs and the sugar and the brown powder, the whole bit. So it's like you put it in a big bowl. It's all baked in. You whip it up. You stick it in the oven, the Dutch oven. Speaking of the Dutch oven, Bruno's going to be here in about 40 minutes. Yeah.
I think this is so wrong because I think if you're around kids, I think of my brother John. We played together. I could do everything. I don't know. I think that it's weird to me that in this day, we're in a place where they just want to put everybody in a little box.
Mm-hmm.
And that from the time you're 4, it's like they're narrowing you instead of expanding your horizons.
Yep.
And as well, since I never defined myself as a girl, I don't define myself as a woman. It's part of me, but they want to make it the definition of you. And I think that's a huge mistake.
It's like this obsessive advertisement of what you say you are.
Yep.
And no matter what I see, feel, or believe, I need to believe what you're telling me, despite all the evidence pointing in the other direction.
By the way, this whole notion that if your 4-year-old tells you what gender they are, you should believe them. My son is 3, and
So that conversation's coming.
right now he's getting marshmallows for going pee-pee on the potty. So the thought that by next year he's gonna be like, Dad, you know what? All right, I'm a girl. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's still having accidents in his car's underwear.
Yeah.
But he knows what gender he is.
Daddy, that Jalen Hurts jersey you got me, can you return that? I actually want to dress like an Eagles cheerleader.
No, and what if sometimes they're Buzz Lightyear, or they're a car, or they're a dog.
Exactly.
It's all, you're like, oh, good, like Greg said, oh, good for you. You're the best ever. I don't know. I just think that these individuals have issues in their lives, and they don't define our kids.
Yeah.
Does this one who looks like, I don't know, a younger Mrs. Doubtfire with pigtails and a little dress?
Daniel, can you put the freeze frame?
Yeah,
and
put her in the box.
and put her on the.
Give her the 4th slot.
Give her the 4th slot.
Yeah.
Because Nick, somebody on the YouTube chat pointed out that you didn't mention that
this individual,
this person has a strawberry tank top on.
Oh, I
yeah,
did.
strawberry
I
tank
did.
top.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, after
tank
the
top.
choker necklace.
Yeah.
Choker, pigtails.
Yep.
I just curly, whatever. Does this person have kids? Because
Definitely not.
if you don't,
Definitely not.
like, just stop talking. Why are you? So this is why I think it's just odd that these types of individuals seem obsessed with kids. The fact that you, Barbara, Mark, whatever, that you're talking about kids. Why are you talking about kids?
Yeah.
Everybody else in social media, right? They're talking about themselves, but they're talking about kids. There's something, I just think, creepy about that.
I just
Stop
wanna-
talking about kids.
I just want to know what life occurrence or what life event was so life-altering, or a series of events that you arrived at this conclusion of, well, I'm 27, but now I feel like, you know what? After a quarter century running around as a dude, I'm actually a woman. Like, were you abused? Did you have a traumatic experience? Did you not have parents growing up?
No, I'm just looking at the. We're in the 4 box right now.
Yeah, she's in the 4 box. Box number 4.
Yeah.
That's BA 2.86 right there.
But to your point, Nick Kayal, this individual is not saying, I was this, now I'm this, and expressing a personal experience. This person is talking all about other people's kids.
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk about my kids.
I know.
Don't talk about Greg's kid. Why are you
Let's-
talking
yeah.
about other people's kids? You can talk about yourself. Good for you.
Right. Let's establish one thing, and this goes to this individual.
Wait, hang on. Before we say that, let's not paint every transgender person as a pedophile. Because
I'm not.
That's not.
I
that's
didn't
not
say
true.
that word. I did not say that word. I'm simply pointing out this individual is not saying, "Hey, when I was younger, I identified as this, and now I'm wearing this pretty tank top or dress that's a strawberry with a white background, and now I feel good." And so it's not about this person. This person is obsessing over 4-year-old little kids.
And I think the big takeaway for me is, to your point of, my kids are my kids. So whether it's this individual, Joe Biden, Rochelle Walensky, Randy Weingarten, or anybody else, this whole notion that your children belong to others as well within the community is patently false.
That's right.
Now, yes, it does take a community to raise somebody.
Sure.
Like there's your church leader, your teacher, your guidance counselor, your football coach. I got all of that. But at the end of the day, Bobby and Becky, I created them, not you. And I'll end them if I want to.
Don't say that.
I'll take away their iPads.
That'll really end.
And that does.
That's how you end kids
Dad,
today.
you ended my life.
All right, device roundup. Give me the devices, tablets, phones. I want them all.
By the way, let me say this off the bat too. Like, whatever my son grows up to be, I will support him 100% no matter what.
Of course.
That being said, to sit here and say that at 4 years old, you know what gender you are,
right,
and you can decide, hey, I don't feel like a boy, I want to be a girl. is just utterly ridiculous.
Right.
It's utterly ridiculous.
You don't know what channel numerically Disney Junior is at 4.
By the way, I would have the unpopular opinion too that I actually don't think you can make that decision at 18 either, because I think that you go through a lot, boys and girls, 17, 18, you go through a lot in those years, and you think you're different and this and that and the other. Like, I think you should have to be 30.
Yeah, that's where I disagree with you. I've given my rationale for it. I think at 18, if you're able to go over and get your head blown off in Ukraine or in Russia, you're old enough to have your vagina removed.
Can they do that? Can they remove that?
They take anything off these days, apparently.
Just asking. I don't know.
Like seriously, if you want to go to the Middle East and fight against terrorists at 18, I think you have the right to have your.
There's no draft. We're not.
No,
I'm saying sending our kids off to war like it's World War II.
There are certain things we let people drive at 16, enlist in the military at 18, buy tobacco. 21, you can buy alcohol. 18, you can vote. Like my rule's going to be, and I'm not going to be living with my daughters right now, but once they're 18. I've got no say over them anymore in many regards.
Exile Kraken has a very good point on the YouTube chat. By the way, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Trust your gut. If your babysitter walked in looking like this or talking like this, are you going out for date night? That's a very good question.
Well, it depends on what the hourly rate she's charging.
No. I was sitting there thinking, I really want to ask Greg, if this person showed up at your doorstep and you and Steph have a date night, because I'm answering the door, and this person's going, 4-year-olds, and I would be like, oh man, I feel I have a stomach flu coming on.
We have 2 babysitters. One is my mother, and the other is the family that you know.
Yes.
Those are the only 2 people that I trust my son with.
I mean,
so no.
For this individual at $100 for 3 hours versus $15 an hour, $15 an hour, you're probably not going to beat that. So, I probably would suck it up and take it.
Stop.
It's only 3 hours, honey.
No, to be honest with you guys, all right, look, if we're being honest here, I might as well be honest. So we, during COVID, we were interviewing nannies because I did not want to send my son into some environment where he was going to have to wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
So we, spent a ton of money to have a nanny for a year and a half. We interviewed a guy, and I told my wife, I do not want a guy watching my son.
Mm-hmm. Don't blame you.
Sorry.
Don't blame you.
He was the nicest guy in the world, honestly. Had nothing to do with him. I'm not alluding that he was some sort of anything. But I was just like, I need a woman.
I told my mom when my parents got divorced and I was 11 and she felt like me and my sister still needed a babysitter and my grandmother couldn't do it every day. I said it's got to be a female.
Yeah. Is that
God's honest truth?
That's just your instinct. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
And you know what? Maybe there is. Maybe. And it does depend on the person. If it's a family member, if you know the person, I'm just saying there are individuals online that I have friends with younger kids or girls like Nick's age, and the parents are just freaked out that there are these individuals online, and actually this individual who you have up with the pigtails and
box number 4 for
box number 4
on YouTube.
This one is mild. Some of them are saying, hey, if you want to talk, go over here in a private chat, kids. And it's a person, it's a biological man, all made up, speaking to kids.
I've got this WhatsApp messenger.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's what they do. Let's go in a private chat room. You can talk to me. You can trust me. So I'm not saying this individual is going to that level, but why are all these biological males dressed up as females talking about kids or talking to kids? To me, I get a spidey sense in the back of my spine that I really don't appreciate that. And if that person, and I've done this before when my kids were little in the park on Joshua Road, right in Montgomery County, that, Miles Park, and there would be some person, a guy usually, or it's somebody dressed like this, and they're on the bench and they're trying to talk to my kid, and I would come, and my kid's 5 or 6 or 7, I would say, don't talk to my kid. Where are your kids?
Right.
Do you have kids here? And I would loudly, and I was obnoxious. I was And I'm sorry, it was my instinct, and I'm going to be that mama Wolverine. Don't talk to my kid.
And that's I'm glad you brought up the word instincts. Never apologize for trusting your instincts in your gut. If something is telling you something doesn't add up, it probably doesn't add up. So act accordingly upon that and do so with conviction. Don't apologize and I'm not going to apologize for being a biological male. I'm sorry. Now, there's some things I can't say out loud. What are you thinking? Honey, if I wanted you to know, I'd be talking. Well, you gotta have that little inner monologue at times, but you know.
By the way, on YouTube, Buddy Boy has just joined the
the Buddy Boy.
Oh, I love some chicken.
He says bark and woof. So, your dog is on the chat. Boy,
so good.
there's something about this YouTube chat that just brightens my day or brings me down.
We do leave Odyssey on in the house so that he can,
Get you the team player.
He can hear us.
Good.
Oh, I love you guys.
Contributing to our TLH. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Some inside talk for the two people who get it.
Does Buddy have one of the devices?
No, yeah, better not. This male who uses the women's bathroom doesn't realize the irony of being scared to use the men's bathroom. Can you follow this?
One more time?
This is a male who uses the women's bathroom.
Okay.
Doesn't realize the irony of him being scared to use the men's bathroom.
Okay.
Cut 2.
Well, then it's a good thing that trans women are not men. But while we're on the topic, let's talk about it. Aside from the fact that trans women are not a threat to other women in the bathroom, it is equally unsafe.
Nick, would you like to describe this person?
Shades of purple hair. Shades of it around the roots and the edges.
Very feminine face, though.
Very feminine face.
Yeah.
I would call that a lavender eyeshadow. We've got to go back to it now. It was taken away.
I didn't realize I didn't realize you just took a bite of something.
Well, it's not that. I can talk with my mouth full.
Okay.
Smitty, get so many cookies out of my mouth. The picture's down again.
But can I tell you something? If this individual here at Odyssey walked in the bathroom, I have no problem. I have no problem with that. I don't. In an adult setting, I could care less. We have individualized stalls.
I have more of an issue with people walking in with 3.5 gallons of cologne on.
Who is the guy? Who is the guy in this building that puts the cologne?
I
don't know who it is.
I can't reveal that. I can't reveal that.
I think we out it.
I can't. I'm trying to keep my job.
But I don't even care who has a lot of perfume on. I don't care who goes in the bathroom. We have stalls. The only place I do care about it is in a school.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked yesterday about that tennis coach in Gettysburg, and they're struggling with this because this is by all accounts, a wonderful teacher and great coach. And initially, when the person became a coach, was a male, a biological male, and then did a transition in 2021 and is now Sasha.
Right.
And now is using the girls' locker room or bathroom in the high school, and that's when parents and girls had a problem.
Right.
To me, I just wish they'd say, hey, coach, all coaches, all teachers, we're going to have y'all use an adult bathroom and never use student bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, honestly, if this individual that Greg just showed uses our bathroom here or any bathroom and we have stalls, I don't care. The only place I care about it is when we're talking about kids and students in school.
That's correct.
I'm going to start this video over, Danielle. By the way, Pacers 2017 says that working from home today and watching you on the big screen, I had to get on my computer to ask you to please take box 4 off. I'm eating my breakfast. That's not right.
Hey, if you're watching us, send us your pics on Twitter.
Show us yours.
Show us your setup.
Show us your setup. I'm starting cut 2 over, Daniel. Here we go.
Well, then it's a good thing that trans women are not men. But while we're on the topic, let's talk about it. Aside from the fact that trans women are not a threat to other women in the bathroom, it is equally unsafe for both trans women and cisgender women alike to go in a men's restroom. See, men don't want me in the bathroom looking like this. They want me to go back to being a man, and they're going to take any opportunity they can to antagonize a trans woman in an attempt to convince her to be a man. So the second a trans woman sets foot in a men's bathroom, she is unsafe. The second any woman sets foot in a men's bathroom, she's not safe.
What are we doing?
The majority of women understand this. Out of the thousands of bathrooms I've been in, I've only had an issue 2 times. And despite what happened in both of those times, I would still never set foot in a men's restroom ever again.
So a couple of things. This person has been in a bathroom thousands of times, has had 2 issues. Once again, trans people are not under attack. There's the rare occurrence where a disturbance happens and a disruption occurs, but most of the time, human beings and adults really couldn't care less. Because honestly, we're all just trying to get in there, do our 1 or 2, wash our hands potentially, and get the hell out of there, right?
I'm going to disagree.
Really?
Yeah. First of all, I agree with this individual first of all, I think most women, grown-up women, don't care if this individual is in the stall next to him, probably wouldn't even notice.
Mm-hmm.
This individual in certain bathrooms,
unless she's dropping a heater.
well, who goes into a men's bathroom and looks like a woman and then whips it out and uses the urinal. In some places that might be a problem.
They don't have urinals in women's bathrooms, do they?
I'm talking about if this individual went in a men's bathroom.
Oh, okay.
That this individual might get some pushback in some places. So I'm going to agree with that. The piece I'm going to disagree with, because this person's not a biological female, there have been multiple times in my life where I've been at a concert and like the Wells Fargo Center or wherever, and the women's line is like a mile long, and I gotta go. And I've gone and I run in the men's bathroom.
Yeah.
Guys cheer. Cheer.
I've escorted women into the men's bathroom who were like, "Hey, can you bring me and like I'll clear out a stall for them and let them go in there and kind of stand guard and then watch."
Yeah.
But to that point, like what are men doing in bathrooms that this person feels unsafe?
I have no idea.
Like,
I don't know.
To your point, we all get in and get out.
I
Nobody
know.
wants to hang out in there.
You never want, especially in the urinal standing, you never want to be next to another dude because it's like, all right, do I keep my eyes up at the ceiling?
You always keep your eyes up at the ceiling.
My
What's
head
wrong
down,
with you?
looking at myself.
No.
Yeah, it's just. All right, since we're being honest, have you ever had to use the bathroom so bad that you used the female restroom?
It's a great question. Probably.
I have.
Yeah,
There's
probably.
been times where I've gone
If
into.
nobody was in there. If nobody was in there.
Yeah.
There's been times where I've gone into like a Wawa, and the man in the bathroom, he's got the door locked, and he's been in there for 13 minutes. So then I knock on the women's door.
Ooh, that
anybody
smell.
there? And I run in quick, do my business, and try to get out, and then I purchase something because I don't want to be arrested or anything. But imagine that.
I don't know. I think I will say that there are just some places where a trans individual going into a men's bathroom, some environments where that person might get beat up.
Really?
Yeah.
Where are these guys that are looking to attack? I mean, I don't know. I've been in many men's bathrooms, and nobody seems very concerned about who else is in there. Am I wrong, Nick?
I'm sorry. I'm more concerned with getting texted by Bruno about a clean feed link. I don't know if the boys can get that in the back. We've only been doing this since like 2019.
Boys, can we please get on this?
But whatever you said, I agree with.
Good answer.
Since we're on this topic.
Good answer.
I don't know. I just feel like this painting men's bathrooms as like this place where people are trying to beat people up and.
But also this what I've said about I've said this about the mustache. Guys that grow the mustache, that they're doing it for attention. They don't think it's actually a good look. I think this whole trans bathroom confusion, uncomfortable thing is an attention-seeking mission. Because be honest, if you're in there and you got to go whatever you got to do, one of them you're in and out in 30 seconds likely. The other one takes a few minutes. But is it that big of a deal that this is always the context of the conversation? Like, in the grand scheme of things, it's less than 1% of your day. Just get in, get out, and carry on with your life.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, for some people who have bladder issues, they might go,
well,
more than I'm just saying.
I drink a lot of water, too.
You
But
do.
My God.
But at first glance, the individual in box 4 at this point, at first glance, I would think I thought that was a biological woman.
Yeah,
at first glance.
I mean, the face is very
at least.
the face is very feminine.
Yeah.
Very feminine.
It's very anti-Rachel Levine.
Yeah, very slender body.
Mm-hmm.
Greg.
So, Greg, you down?
I just say things just to get a reaction.
Tone Luke.
Gino
was.
So did you guys see? So I saw this report yesterday. The average price of a new car in the U.S. is $50,000.
I'm not surprised.
I just this news report here. I got this from Fox News. This news report shocked me. I'm going with cut 7, Daniel.
The average price of a new car in this country, I mean, I actually didn't believe it. We had to double check it. This is according to Kelley Blue Book. It's approaching $50,000 under this presidency. Why is this happening? Can people afford this?
And there's only one model under $20,000, but there are 32 models over $100,000 if you're a real luxury spender. Look, this is just the inflation that we talk about on our show all the time, that prices are going up. Real wages just barely turned positive in the last few months. They've been negative for about 24 to 26 months. And so Americans really are struggling. And I think it's so perfect that you highlight the middle class, because those people who want even new or even used cars really struggling to find something affordable.
I'm not sure why that would be a surprise to anybody. A house that used to be $350,000 is now $500,000.
Yes.
So if a car used to be $40,000 and it's now $50,000, are you shocked? I mean, I think the days of, 1999 down and you're going to get this car for $289 a month. Those days are over, and they've been over.
Two things. The other headline, because of all the federal funding that's being pumped in, the electric vehicle prices are dropping. So they're down 5+%.
Because nobody wants one.
Well, because they're subsidized.
Yeah.
And so that's by design. But I think the other piece of this, it's supply and demand. And because there are still shipping issues, even if a car is assembled in America, some of the precious metals and parts and electronic pieces that they need, all chips and all of that, are coming from overseas.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's far less inventory. So because we're looking for a car for Michael and I want to trade in my minivan, I'm right in the middle of this with the Piazzas and being educated about this.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're looking at the best deals around and you have a relationship with hopefully Piazza Auto Group, our friends, right?
Exactly.
That you would look at this and be aware that it's a supply-demand issue, Bidenomics. So this is one of the taxes. This is a tax being imposed by this administration on all of us.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
You're right.
It's a car tax.
That's absolutely correct.
This one I saw, actually, Nick, you pointed this out to me. Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
New TV commercial.
How about that?
For Hulu TV.
Okay.
Go Jalen.
Our boy getting some commercial work.
That's right.
This is the ad that is running right now for Hulu TV. This is cut 6, boys.
What's this?
Huh. Wait. Has your name always been Hulu Has Live Sports?
I guess so.
New name, same man. Meet Jalen. Hulu Has Live Sports.
It's on me. I got y'all. Yes, sir.
Hulu Plus Live TV, your favorite place to watch live TV.
Jalen Hulu Has Live Sports.
That's correct. Now you really have to be watching to understand that the beauty of the commercial, because they've got his jersey and on the nameplate on the back it says Hurts, and then they unfold it from left to right like it's a piece of paper that was scrunched up, and it says Hulu Has Live Sports, and it takes the HURTS.
Yep.
Very clever.
They're obviously trying to compete with YouTube TV, which now has the DirecTV or the
Sunday Ticket.
Sunday Ticket.
I've heard.
Package. So it's
well,
yeah, it's.
Do we want to play the meltdown of the?
I don't love to play other radio hosts.
Oh, but this good. Oh.
I mean, we can if you want to.
I mean, I find it to be great because
Do
I
you?
think a lot of men are in the same situation as that individual,
All right, hang on.
as well as myself. You know, like I'm still a guy that has a cable subscription. Yeah, I have Netflix. Yes, I have Peacock. But I don't like having to struggle to find things that I'm used to. I'm very old school. If I can still get the physical copy of a newspaper, I'm going to do it.
You're 39 going on 72.
I am. I'm just not one of these hardcore streaming cord cutting guys, even though I probably will have to cut the cord. but the NFL Sunday Ticket and the Red Zone channel used to be a DirecTV property, and now I believe it is gone to, I think it's YouTube, or I think Apple might have some. They all have like some little skin in the game, so to speak.
So this is Chris Mad Dog Russo from Mad Dog Unleashed, talking about trying to find the NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV.
Yes,
and he was very cranky. This Odyssey is courtesy of Sirius XM, by the way.
That's what they're gonna do. Here's this gadget, Chris. You got to sign up here. Give me your email address there. Here's your receipt. No, you can't do it on this. You got to do it via your phone. I mean, it's impossible. All I want to do is lose money. That's all I want to do. Lose money with the service and lose money with Fatso's picks. That's all I care about. And they won't let me do it.
Who's Fatso?
So the NFL and YouTube, whether it's YouTube TV, regular YouTube, who knows what it is? The only reason why I put YouTube on is to see an old David Crosby interview. That's the only reason. Or find a Bob Dylan song. I mean, my God almighty. Or watch Leonard Skinner, which I'm into right now, as you guys know. That's all I care about. But they don't allow me to do it because in this age, 2023, if you are not tech savvy with your televisions and all your quote-unquote devices, you're finished. Finished. I bought the DirecTV. I had them put the stupid things on my roofs, with the facing the southwest.
The dish.
I went through that process. I deal with the satellite loss with the storms. But I know with DirecTV when I get up or I get ready to watch football on Sunday in September, October, November, and December, I know I can lose money which makes me happy because all the games are in front of me. 8 little boxes. I got the 4 separate, I got the 8 little boxes. They have taken that device away from me. And now I got to work to watch the ball game. So we have no idea now whether on September 10th at 101, I can put Catalan on when he's doing freaking him and Matt Ryan when he's bouncing around doing the Bucks-Viking game. I mean, that's it. They make it so gosh darn difficult. My God. Can't you just make it easy? And then I'm going to have to call Eddie on the 10th of September. Eddie, get your ass up here. This thing, I can't get it working right. And he knows I'll be frustrated and everything else. And all the good things I did at church at 9 o'clock will be gone by 1 because I'll be cursing up a storm and throwing things all over the house.
Wow.
Oh, my God. Folks, there you go. And you get that 3 hours a day. I don't know how that guy still has vocal cords left, but you get that nonstop. But I'm with him from the standpoint of some of this technology nowadays. I understand that's where we're going. We've got the Odyssey app. We've got YouTube. I understand all of that. But it is difficult when you're a creature of habit as a man or a woman that consumes sports, and you find all these new streaming apps and devices, and now Saturday night NBC's got the game. You're like, what? I hate it.
It's hard finding things. It's like, well, Thursday night has this game. Sunday, it's here.
Thursday night, you got to subscribe to Amazon Prime just to watch football.
Yeah.
Thank God my ex-wife was buying razor blades and stuff, or I wouldn't have had Amazon Prime. And I'm like, hey, what's the password for this?
Yeah.
And, of course, they've. By the way, Dawn, do you have multiple passwords, or do you use the same password for everything?
Multiple passwords. It's such a pain.
I tell you, there's nothing worse than when you ask for one and it's wrong, and then you wonder if the first letter should be capitalized, or if it was a star or a dollar sign at the end of it.
All right, let's do the big 3 so we can get to Bruno.
All right. 8:20 Wednesday morning. Bruno's coming up, but right now, Dawn Stensland with multiple passwords for the big 3 at 8:20.
It's the big 3 at 8 on Kayal and Company.
And we are sponsored in the big 3 at 8 by Hint Water. So the mothers of 2 children struck and killed by that Amtrak train in Chester back in the spring they're suing. They have filed a lawsuit against Amtrak. Families and their attorneys speaking out at a press conference today at 1 o'clock near the scene of that tragic incident. The lawsuit says that the children, who are 12 and 9 years young, were only able to gain access to the tracks through a large hole in the fencing surrounding the tracks. They're blaming Amtrak for not fixing the fence, and thus the children were walking on the tracks and playing on the tracks and were struck and killed by that train.
Ugh.
This is making national headlines.
Terrible.
Number 2, we've talked about a woman who knows how to defend herself. A would-be carjacker didn't expect that, in fact, the lady who he was attempting to carjack this morning, North Philadelphia, well, it turns out she's a state corrections officer, and she pulled out her gun and fired in self-defense. So now both that state corrections officer as well as the suspect in the attempted carjacking, they're hospitalized this morning in stable condition. Another carjacking story in Philadelphia.
And as we like to say, F around and find out. And that carjacker found out the hard way.
And Bruce, the boss, he called in sick. We still don't quite know why he called in sick when people had been tailgating all day long on that fateful day in Philadelphia recently, in South Philadelphia, excited for the Bruce Springsteen concert. But we do know now that soon ticket holders will be able to get refunds by going to phillies.com/Springsteen when new dates are announced. So Springsteen fans not happy about the fact that these, at the very last minute, within hours of a concert, when they were already tailgating in the heat, 90-degree scorching heat, and they were out there all day excited for the Bruce concert. Some of them had come here from out of town, traveled, hotels, etc. So the deal is that they didn't cancel the concert. They postponed it. And so there are no laws protecting you. And so at this point, we know that if all existing tickets are good for the new show, if you choose to hold on to your ticket, but they haven't announced the new show, which is probably going to be a year from now.
Is it me, or doesn't it seem like nowadays more than ever for performances and concerts and tickets that the consumer has less protection than ever before?
Yeah.
This seems to be like an ongoing issue.
Yeah. Well, they offer you ticket protection on Ticketmaster or any of those places where you can say, hey, you can protect this ticket for whatever the fee is. And most people say, nah, there's no. But
it seems like an unnecessary charge that's becoming necessary, sadly.
Well, the problem is that there's so many different charges for,
the junk fees.
A $50 ticket turns into a $97 ticket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With just the fees.
Yep.
And to Greg's exact point, so even once the concert's rescheduled, event organizers are not obligated to offer refunds, and popular resellers like StubHub and SeatGeek cannot offer refunds unless the event is canceled outright. So they didn't cancel it; they postponed it. They knew what they were doing.
Okay. Scumbags.
So there are laws, to your point, talking about this. It's called the Boss and Swift Act. Meaning Taylor Swift and Bruce Springsteen. And this is legislation just introduced, and locally, Pennsylvania and New Jersey, they're talking about this, saying, you know what, we need to have laws that mandate disclosure of the refund policies for concert tickets, and also get rid of these hidden junk fees, or at least promote transparency. So there are lawmakers locally are now calling it the Boss and Swift Act, because of this conversation.
Good.
Bruce Springsteen fans not pleased with this, saying, come on, dude, you're ripping us off.
That's right.
We are sponsored in the Big Three by Hint Water. Hint infuses pure water with fruit essences to create surprisingly accurate fruit flavors without any sugar or any diet sweeteners or calories. Available in stores or at hintwater.com. Kayal and Company, Big Three.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 8:25 here on this Wednesday morning. Coming up next, live from Florida, the man, the myth, the legend, the great Tony Bruno for our weekly Wednesday fireside radio chat. It's Bruno as he joins Kayal and Company next on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Every business seeks an advantage, whether it's having the best location, hiring top talent, or spotting trends before they happen. And now, the United States Postal Service can give your business a new advantage. Introducing USPS Ground Advantage. Reliable and affordable 2 to 5 day package shipping. It's the advantage you need at the price you want. Get the Ground Advantage at USPS.com/advantage. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America.
So many listeners are enjoying beautiful, easy-to-maintain homes thanks to Rhino Shield, and you can too. Dom Giordano here with my good friend, the local owner of Rhino Shield. John, take it away.
Hello, it's John from Rhino Shield. For years, you've heard about our exclusive elastomeric ceramic house paint with the unheard of 25-year warranty. Today, I want to ask you, do you need to paint your home? Maybe even been putting it off for too long? If your answer is yes, then ask yourself, if you want to paint it one last time, or if you want to be painting it again in 5 or 6 years. Rhino Shield can make your next paint job your last. Rhino Shield is waterproof, protects your home, is affordable, and looks great on any exterior surface. Let Rhino Shield show you how you can be done with frequent painting. Call us today at 484-406-5111 for a free consultation. That's 484-406-5111.
Dust off those renovation plans and start designing that new kitchen of your dreams with some help from Colonial Marble and Granite. Colonial Marble and Granite is offering fully installed countertops for just $14.99 or an all-in kitchen for $6,999, including cabinetry, countertops, and sink and faucet package. You heard right, $6,999 all-in kitchen. Stop by a Colonial Marble and Granite area showroom to see their amazing selection of products or make an appointment for a free in-home consultation. Visit colonialmarble.net.
Have you heard all the talk about fresh pet food? Well, at Dogs and Cats Rule, when it comes to fresh, healthy ingredients, we lead the way. Hi, I'm George Parenti, and I'm here to tell you there's nothing better nutrition-wise than fresh food for your pet. Stop in to one of our 7 neighborhood locations and ask our expert staff how a real, fresh, meat-based diet can change your pet's overall health and well-being. Shop online at dogsandcatsrule.pet. Dogs and Cats Rule. Shop small, shop local, shop family.
You're out of breath. Have a constant dry cough that won't go away. It could be interstitial lung disease. ILD is rare, but it's serious. It can be the fight of your life. And you can't face the fight of your life if you don't know you're in it. Ask your doctor. Find a pulmonologist. Get answers. There's hope. There's help. But don't wait. Go to lungsandyou.com/fight ILD.
Hi, this is Dr. Brad Schaefer. As a podiatrist, I can tell you no two people's feet are alike, which is why I recommend Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotic inserts. They're customized for your feet, so you get a unique solution your feet really need, not just a one-size-fits-all insole. They're clinically proven to provide pain relief for achy feet, knees, lower back, plantar fasciitis, and heels. Take the Dr. Scholl's Custom Fit Orthotics Assessment in Walmart today. Now in the foot care aisle.
Does your knee pain keep getting worse? How about that pain in your shoulder or hip or your back? Don't let them tell you steroids and surgery are your only option. Take my advice now. Call QC Kinetics. Dawn Stensland here. You know, QC Kinetics can make that pain go away with all natural advanced regenerative medicine. And they're helping people here in the Philadelphia region every single day with these amazing natural treatments which restore and repair damaged joint tissue. It's like turning back the clock. Regenerative medicine uses concentrated healing agents from your own body, which stimulate that damaged tissue in your joints so they can work like they're supposed to. Zero downtime. How about that? This is a remarkable option. You need to check it out, and the consultation's free. Just call QC Kinetics now. 215-999-3000. Would you just call QC Kinetics? Call them today. 215-999-3000. Tell them Dawn sent you.
At Wells Fargo, if you accidentally overdraw your account, we give you an extra day grace period to avoid the overdraft fee. What if everything came with an extra day?
Sunday night and I have the Sunday scaries.
Honey, don't be scared. Every weekend comes with an extra day now.
All right. TGI Sunday.
It helps to have an extra day. When it comes to overdrafts, you can with Wells Fargo.
Visit wellsfargo.com/getextra to learn more. Terms and conditions apply, subject to timing requirements and the bank's funds availability policy. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
Volvo Finance, in concert with Cherry Hill Volvo, is offering lease and cash bonuses up to $2,500. Purchase or lease a new XC40 or XC90 through Volvo Finance and through Cherry Hill Volvo and receive this additional bonus along with the aggressive pricing already posted on our Cherry Hill Volvo website. This is a special offer and it is not to be missed. Volvo Finance and Cherry Hill Volvo and you, a perfect partnership.
Hey, Paoli, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Well, I heard you crying loud all the way across town. You've been searching for that someone that is beyond the crowd.
8:32, it is Kayal and Company live here on a Wednesday morning. The segment brought to you by the Piazza Auto Group. Make it a summer to remember with the perfect Hyundai from your trusted dealers. Piazza Hyundai of Pottstown and Westchester. You can shop the 2023 Elantra, Tucson, Santa Fe, and much more at piazzahyundai.com. Some technical issues getting Tony Bruno in here. We'll get to him if we connect with him. But in the meantime, I do want to get back to a lot of the stuff that we started. I was actually going to ask Tony this as well when it comes to everything going on tonight in the world of politics. And we've also got some new stuff to get to with Trump as well on the Georgia indictment front. And Dorenzo handed me something that I thought was pretty hysterical here during the commercial break. But this morning, if you missed the big take was really centered around Ron DeSantis and his opportunity tonight to really cut through and break out and shine on this GOP primary stage in Milwaukee, which will happen tonight at 9 o'clock on Fox News. And we know it will be DeSantis, Christie, Ramaswamy, Pence, Haley, Burgum, Penn, and there's one other I'm forgetting who's really inconsequential. A total of 8 individuals.
And 9, aren't there?
No, there are 8.
No, I think it's 8.
Okay.
I think Hutchinson's the one I always forget about.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Asa.
It's hard to forget about that guy. But then, of course, on the counter side of things, you have Trump and Tucker and Twitter, and that could drop. I've had tweets this morning, people saying that usually Tucker puts his stuff out at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, you will have probably 3 hours. I'm assuming Trump and Tucker will probably be 45 minutes to an hour, maybe a little bit more. So you're going to have plenty of time to consume that. And then if you care to watch the Fox primary debate on Fox News, you can do that at 9 o'clock. Although, from the poll question I put up earlier this morning, it does not appear to be that people are really interested in that. Well over 100 people have voted. And right now, Trump and Tucker on X lead the way at 42%.
Yeah. Neither
at 40%. Both of those at 11%. And just the Fox GOP debate at 7%. I also saw that Dom was talking about with the poll question on who do you want to do well in tonight's debate. Vivek leading the way there at 42%, followed by DeSantis at 36%, Scott at 10%, and somebody else at 12%. Now, Dorenzo handed me this during the break, and I tweeted out the picture of it. It's pretty hysterical. It's the Ron 2024 DeSanctimonious Debate Night Bingo card.
Oh, no. What is happening?
I don't know where people come up with this, but this is why the internet remains undefeated.
Yeah.
And I've posted it on my Twitter at Nick Kayal if you'd like to see it. All Four Corners, if you've ever played All Four Corners Bingo, is saved by Fox News. Free space in the middle with DeSantis's face, but some of the other possibilities on the bingo card are the words woke, at the words end of the day, because DeSantis loves to say that, words such as narratives and Floridians, bobbles head, gaslights his COVID record, plagiarizes Trump, defends slavery. Then you have DeSantis, flip-flops on Social Security again, nervous laugh, which we have very much highlighted on this show. Red ears. Apparently his ears get red in certain tense moments. A pudding mention. Dismisses a poll. Folks is another word that he likes to use. Folks. Folks. So if you want to print one of these out tonight, you could maybe play the Ron DeSantis bingo debate night card with like one of your little stampers at home. Or you could do like I'm going to do the DeSantis drinking game.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a shot for every time he says the word woke.
So we here on the show have we made guesses this morning, the 6 o'clock hour on GOP debate viewership and Trump and Tucker. I'll call it viewership on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the GOP debate clocking in at 3.4 million.
Yep.
Nick, you have the GOP debate clocking in at 2.7 million. Dawn has it clocking in at 3.9 million. Trump Tucker, I have 80 million views on Twitter. By the way, we should clarify in how, so like if they drop it at 6 p.m., by 6 a.m.
Yes.
When we come on the air
12
tomorrow
hours.
morning, I think he'll have 80 million views, and I put views in quotations. You say 94 million. Dawn says 6.
Yes.
So that's where we're at right now with that.
And just to clarify for all of those, when it comes to these Twitter videos, you know, you don't have to watch more. I mean, I think technically as a view is if you click on the tweet or you scroll and swipe it.
No, all you have to do is scroll past it.
Scroll. So it just has to go flowing through your feed to count as a view.
Yep.
Wow. I mean, which is great if you're trying to sell it. Like, hey, I got 80 million views, right?
You know, when we discussed this last week and we said, how can he, because he's not going to go on Newsmax and get a better viewership than Fox News.
No.
It's just not going to happen, or OAN or any of those other places.
Right.
So he needs to be able to show quantifiable data that he got more views than the GOP debate by a lot.
Right.
Which way to do that? Tucker on Twitter. Because his average view is like, I don't know, 50 million views or something like that.
That's correct.
So it's gonna well surpass that.
It is. And obviously you have the motive of both Tucker Carlson and Trump with their issue that they have with Fox News. Tucker, obviously, as a former employee. Trump, based on the fact that he doesn't like the way he's portrayed and covered at times, or many of the times, on Fox News.
Kevin Pools asked if there's no mention of mustard on the...
Mustard. Mustard's got to be on the bingo card. Although, unless we're starting to talk about condiments, I don't know why mustard would come up. If DeSantis resorts to mustard, he's probably dead in the water at that point. Yeah, it's like, you know, like somebody going to the soundboard where they have nothing else to do for the next 2 minutes. Like yours truly. But on a serious front, tomorrow is also going to be a big day because tomorrow is the day where Donald Trump is expected to, quote, turn himself in. And I thought this story was interesting because now it does not appear to be likely that his mugshot will be taken. This runs counter to what we heard just about 10 days ago when the sheriff in Fulton County was saying, oh, no, to my knowledge, there's going to be a mugshot, and there's going to have to be something that's said, or I'm told to be doing something different for that not to occur. Well, apparently that will not occur. Donald Trump will most likely not have his mugshot released when he is booked into jail on Thursday, an expert has claimed. The former president and criminal defendant in multiple cases expected to surrender and be booked into jail in Atlanta, Georgia on Thursday, as he is being accused of course, illegally scheming to overturn the 2020 election laws in the state of Georgia. This is the fourth arrest, the fourth arraignment, the fourth indictment. And again, I still believe that two things can be true when it comes to the mugshot. One, I think the left would love to have that as their pound of flesh. They would love to turn that into the most notorious GIF or meme or photo in the history of the social media internet era. And they will use that to say, are you, and honestly, they'll take a page out of Chris Christie's playbook. Oh, we're really going to elect somebody that's a four-time indicted individual out on bail in 4 different states. And to some extent, they probably believe that will help them garner votes for the Democrat. But I also do believe that this is a great rallying image, a rallying cry,
Agreed.
so to speak, for Trump supporters and Republicans.
Yeah, I'm surprised he doesn't want it.
I mean, if he put that on a shirt, do you not think that that would sell like hotcakes?
Yes, 100% it would.
You can't buy a red MAGA hat online anymore. They're sold out. Unless you
Really?
unless you have somebody that makes one, because it's very simple looking.
Yeah, sure.
So you could have somebody concoct one.
But an
from,
official one.
From the Trump, you can't get them.
Yeah.
Don't we have the Trump store still in the Northeast or somewhere?
Is that still around?
Yeah.
At Ben Salem?
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Maybe you can
Street
find one
Road.
there. Okay.
So they. So
grab
I think
one on
they're.
your way to Parks.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're still at the Trump store.
But I mean, that would be. I mean, I would wear that with a badge of honor, if I'm a Trump supporter. If I'm Donald Trump myself, you know what I would actually do? I would show up at one of these debates eventually, and I would have that T-shirt on over top of my suit. That would own the moment. Could you imagine him going on a debate stage and going across the podium where Chris Christie's standing and Mike Pence is standing and Ron DeSantis is standing, and he's wearing his mugshot T-shirt? The crowd would gobble it up.
Yeah.
The moderators would lose their mind. The 7-person panel on Van Jones's head would explode in the post-game coverage. Abby Phillips would melt. She wouldn't know what to do. Dana Bash would have that vitriolic rage look on her face, like she wants to divorce John King a third time. It would be epic. So apparently that will not be the case. But actually a few things. There's probably a few that are guaranteed set in stone tomorrow. Cameras set up everywhere. Barricades, reporters on site. You're going to see a slow fixated camera on one of the entrances. There's going to be a Fulton County sheriff with his arms crossed. He's going to have the camera on him for 90 straight minutes. Trump will come in. He'll disappear. He'll be out in 90 minutes, back in an SUV, back on Trump Force One, and back to either Florida or Bedminster.
You'll never see him.
No.
The Secret Service is in charge of all of this.
Yeah.
And anything about mugshot. Remember, in New York, they were like, no way, you're not going to handcuff him. Not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why this is unique and historic and, frankly, ridiculous. But the fact that the Secret Service, it's their job to protect presidents and former presidents as long as they live. They're not going to have any of this. You're not going to. And they're going to say, you got to evacuate. Remember just how they did in New York City. Under Alvin, the lower energy Alvin Bragg, right? They're going to say you got to empty it out. We got to do our sweeps. We're going to bring him in secretly, do our thing. That's it.
Well,
the Secret Service is in charge here.
The only one where he has been seen was the Manhattan one, correct? I remember he comes walking across and he almost ignored all the questions, and then he went into another door. I mean, he was on camera, I think, for all of 8 seconds.
I don't think we saw it live because remember
not live,
right? So they'll let you take it and do the video afterward.
Mm-hmm.
But Secret Service, think about it. I mean, what if somebody takes a pot shot at him?
Right.
This is and that's why he can't go to prison. He can't. This is all ridiculous, and it's all just this big show.
Yes, it is. But speaking of pot shots, so to speak, one other story here on Trump as we wrap up the 8 o'clock hour, which I always find interesting because you always hear about this stuff down the road, but it's very scary. A Canadian woman who attempted to assassinate Donald Trump has been sentenced to 22 years behind bars. This story on FoxNews.com, a Canadian woman who mailed a threatening letter containing a poisonous substance to former President Donald Trump while he was serving in the White House, was sentenced to over 2 decades in prison last Friday. Pascal Cecile Veronique Ferrier, say that 10 times fast, a 56-year-old dual citizen of Canada and France, was sentenced to 262 months, nearly 22 years, behind bars in Washington, D.C. for mailing a letter containing the poison ricin in 2020 to then President Donald Trump and others. She pled guilty in January to violating biological weapons prohibitions. In the letter, Ferrier referred to Trump as the ugly tyrant clown and laced it with the potentially deadly poison, saying, quote, if it doesn't work, I'll find a better recipe for another poison, or I might use my gun when I'll be able to come. Enjoy, free rebel spirit. I mean, you don't hear about these stories ever in the news.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, we just heard, what was it, 2 weeks ago, about the man in was it Arizona or it was Utah? That had been tracked by the FBI for months and said that he was going to, kill Joe Biden. And, we had that encounter where the feds went through the door. And this guy was apparently, according to the FBI's official statement, basically he had a gun. It was drawn, and they obviously eliminated the threat. So, these things happen, and it's not to excuse them by any stretch, but I think they happen far more often than we are ever told or led on to believe. Yet here we are, and the Biden story, and to no surprise, got far more run in the mainstream media with the press than this story, because this was just emailed to us in one of our show preps about this Canadian woman who got sentenced to 22 years behind bars. Now, she's 56 years old, so you do the math, she'll be in prison until she's 78. Good chance this is a life sentence. She dies in prison. But and look, there's statutes, there's guidelines, there's sentencing structural things here that says this is the punishment for said crime. But it seems to me to be a little light that you get 22 years for the attempted killing of a sitting, much less former president. So wanted to pass that one along because you didn't get that on CBS Sunday Evening News or NBC Nightly News or ABC World News. You never hear those stories, but Pascale Cecile Veronique Ferrier is going to be sitting on her derriere for about a quarter of a century behind bars. So figured we would pass that along as well. 855-839-1210 is the phone number. And then just lastly, as we kind of, I do want to move on to some other fun stuff. We've got a bunch of great stories coming up I want to get to. But the last thing on the debates tonight, I think it's going to be very interesting to see, from the Fox angle. And again, it appears, based on our Twitter poll, that people are not interested in it. They don't care whether it's the time of the year or the fact that it's lacking and missing everybody's favorite figure in the party. It will be interesting to see what the headlines, because I said this on Monday, and I asked everybody on the show, what will be the headline coming out of Wednesday night? And I think it's going to come down to one of three things. Either DeSantis finally cuts through and steps away from just kind of all the robotic, formulaic approach that he's had and is able to show you that, hey, I'm a policy champion, but I also have a little bit of charisma, and I'm going to put it on display tonight. I think that's one thing to watch for. I think the other thing to watch for is everybody's new darling and sensation, Vivek Ramaswamy. Does he continue on? Because he was just on with Caitlin Collins on CNN 2 nights ago. And I guess she was kind of holding his feet to the fire on what he's said or not said about 9/11.
It's true.
Okay, it is true. And then also, when you think about some of these other individuals, Chris Christie, there are some people that believe that Chris Christie can be a factor. And he's already carved out his lane. But his lane is Trump. And that lane is not going to be there in the flesh.
It's true.
But then again, Trump's never there when he's bashing Trump on ABC or any other setting. But, how much? Because the Trump thing is legit and it's a factor. But if we're breaking this into a pie, the Trump sliver is only one sliver. Like, this is the moment for Christie. And if I was advising Chris Christie, I would say, look, if the Trump thing is brought up by Brett Baer or Martha, you get into it, you get in, you get out. You need to hit me with, I need great answers on the economy. I need great answers on the southern border. I need perhaps answers on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Of course, I need answers on the Bidenomics and the Biden policies. It's not enough just to sit here and say that Joe Biden has failed America. We know that. How do you plan on correcting that? And then, of course, the others out there that have really kind of faded a little bit. Tim Scott. We haven't played a Tim Scott soundbite all summer. Nikki Haley. Completely MIA.
That's true.
So there's a lot to be said for all of these individuals tonight. And I know it's August. I know we have time. I know you're down at the shore. You don't care. But for those that tune in for the first time, it's the first glimpse.
For me, I think of, on the other side of it, if I think of if I'm Martha McCallum hosting this with Brett Baer, and I remember the Megyn Kelly question that got all the headlines that sort of made Trump or launched Trump, you may say. If I'm Martha McCallum, what is the first question out of the box? I know Brett Baer is the main anchor. Will he get it? But if I'm Martha, I want to ask the candidates, will each of you just go in turn? If you become the next president of the United States of America, will you pardon Donald Trump on any possible convictions, obviously federal charges, not the Georgia state charges, but would you promise right now, would you vow to pardon former President Donald J. Trump on any federal charges? That's the question I would want to know of each of the, because that's a huge definition. If anybody says no, I think with especially the base, the Republican base, they're done.
Well, I would say this from an answer standpoint. Vivek Ramaswamy is going to pardon him day one. Ron DeSantis probably would, but he's going to say, I haven't read all of the paperwork, but the weaponization of the DOJ and going after, he's going to go into his pivot mode.
Which is a mushy answer that
totally
a lot
agree.
of people won't like.
Totally agree.
The answer cannot be mushy.
The answer that will garner all the soundbite coverage the next morning on the shows will be Chris Christie. Because Chris Christie's going to say no. I can't imagine with the path that he has carved out, the lane he has gone in, that would be a complete 360 from everything he has said about Trump. When he was walking down the hall last week, and we played the clip from CNN, and he was like, when are you guys going to realize that it's not a good look that the leading front, you're going to vote for somebody that's out on bail in 4 different jurisdictions? So he believes that Donald Trump rightfully deserves these indictments. So why would he come back and say, I'll pardon him? That would totally contradict. Now, it's political suicide because he won't.
Or is it? Because then you have people, Democrats, like those in New Jersey, who say, oh, he's very moderate. He would do this. And so is that what the goal is here? Because you want to be in your own lane. You want to be separate.
Mm-hmm.
So there are pros and cons to that.
Yeah, it's very true. It's a very tricky spot for a lot of these people because whether it's their future in politics or potentially being a part of Trump's cabinet or VP, you have to, in many regards, you have to think this through. But also, and I'm going to go against that a little bit. You got to be true to yourself.
Yeah,
like DeSantis has said, I'm not running to be VP. I'm not running to be a cabinet member.
Shafe on the YouTube chat says, how about asking questions that do not utter the name Trump?
But you have to, there are questions about the economy, questions about, the opioid crisis, the border, all of that. But you have to ask that question. You are required to ask
Required to ask that question? Oh, yeah,
absolutely. If Martha McCallum and Brett Baer did not ask some Trump questions, especially the pardon question, that is would be incompetence.
Let's think about this.
Incompetence.
Wow.
You have to ask the question.
Let's think about this strategically, though.
Do you think the American people, let me ask you a question. The American people who are worried about $50,000 for a car and $600,000 for a new house and struggling to put food on the table, you think they care about pardoning Trump? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And in particular, because Fox, this debate, unlike a lot of them, it's being aired exclusively on Fox.
Yes.
So a lot of them will go to other networks. It's not even on YouTube. It's on Rumble.
Right.
This is to a conservative audience. And so that's the red meat. Where's the beef? Here it is. The beef is Trump.
Strategically, from a media standpoint, because what Fox cares about ultimately is ratings.
Yes.
Do they ask the Trump question? Let's say this is only scheduled to go 60 minutes. Do they ask the
2
Trump?
hours.
Oh, 2 hours. Okay, so from 9 to 11. Do you ask the Trump? Do you ask the Trump? Yeah,
torture.
I'm typing up my big take at midnight.
I can't. We can't.
We'll all be taking a Nick Kayal nap today, this afternoon.
Grab him while you get him, baby.
2 hours of these low energy candidates yelling at each other.
We probably don't need 2 hours of them, to be honest. 60 minutes would suffice. You each get 4 minutes.
For 8
go.
people?
We all know. Here's the issue.
Well,
though.
Burgum gets 30 seconds.
We all know where they stand on Trump. I think this is a good chance to let these other people talk
Agreed.
about their
But if you're going to
vision
ask
for America,
if you're going to ask, do you do it right out of the gate from a rating standpoint so you don't get people tuning out, or do you make people wait for it and hit that at 9:45 or 10:15? When do you ask the question? Because like when I do an interview, I always want to ask the most pertinent question first. What's the point of having the guest on? What does my audience care about? I can get to the fourth bullet point in 8 minutes into the interview. But where strategically do you place that question from a journalism or media standpoint?
I like it
Because you can't bury the lead, right?
I like it out of the gate.
Okay.
Because it's a boom. But maybe they would say, get ready at whatever time. If they're going to do like a Nick Kale deep tease, then they'll say at 9:30 or at 10 o'clock, we're going to ask each of you across the board, would you pardon DJT if you were president of the United States of America?
Okay.
Is that will you promise, will you sign a pledge that you will pardon him day one if he's convicted on these federal charges? Yeah, would you pledge?
Okay. Jesus.
That's what I would.
I pledge allegiance
Oh my God.
to the Trump.
I pledge that I will really.
United Dons
that's
of
how
America.
you.
What are we doing?
Because
A
that's how you.
pledge.
Yeah, will you give your word? I would actually say because lawyers want to sign things
Well, you're
so they
posing
can.
the question as a true journalist here. You're not giving them wiggle room escapability,
Right.
Which I appreciate.
I don't want a
which is
mushy
why
answer.
Which is why you have you have awards,
Right?
That's correct.
Thank you. I don't know about that. I just think that you have to ask it in such a way that it's strong, it's powerful, it's a punch, and will you give today? Will you vow? Will you give your word that you will pardon DJT if he's convicted on federal charges? Yes or no?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah. And so it is defining. And so if the mustard gives a mushy answer, that's not going to go over well, because I think people want a leader who is not afraid to lead, either
That's right.
yes or no.
And that'll be the Fox
Boom.
GOP primary debate. And, of course, Trump will be on with Tucker on Twitter.
We'll do it live.
No, it's not going to be live. They've already taped it.
91 LSXer wants to know if Dawn, if you and Larry pledge allegiance to Donald Trump during your homeroom every morning.
We pledge allegiance to each other.
Aw.
I think that this debate needs to be about Joe Biden, and the words Donald Trump do not need to come out of anybody's mouth.
I agree, but I'm taking it from, if I'm Brett or Martha, I want to ask. I want to know. I think that's a defining question, and there are going to be Trump questions. I think that is the Trump question.
We shall see. 855-839-1210 is the number. Right now, Dawn Stensland with a word for, I believe, QC Kinetics.
Yeah, because maybe you're waking up this morning and you're not feeling great. You're not feeling yourself. Maybe that pain is getting worse, and so you're not living your life the way you should, the way you used to. How about that pain in your shoulder, your aching hip, your back? So here's the thing. Don't let them tell you that steroids or surgery and all that downtime are your only options. There is a better option. Take my advice. Just call QC Kinetics. At least look at your options out here. QC Kinetics can and will make that pain go away with all natural, advanced regenerative medicine. And they're helping people here in Philadelphia and our entire region every single day with these amazing natural treatments which restore and actually repair your damaged joint tissue. So this is targeted, and it turns back the clock. Regenerative medicine using concentrated healing agents from your own body, from within, to stimulate that damaged tissue in your joints so they work like they're supposed to, and there is zero downtime here. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting medical breakthrough, and patients are getting real lasting relief, feeling good, saying no to surgery, saying no to drugs, and saying no to downtime. So if you're suffering in pain due to injury or arthritis, it's a remarkable option. You got to check it out. And the consultation's free, so all you have to do, just call them. Would you please just call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000, 215-999-3000, QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Do you feel like you're always looking for another energy boost? Then try Rescue Orosine from Rescue Natural Supplements. As we age, our bodies don't tend to produce enough natural fuel to get rid of that stubborn feeling of fatigue. Well, Rescue Orosine provides just that. Orosine helps by boosting energy production at the cellular level while also supporting a healthy heart and blood pressure. Right now, our exclusive radio listeners can buy one bottle of Orosine, get another one free. Just use the code FUEL when placing your order. Call today, 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code online when you visit res-q.com. That's res-q.com. Make sure you mention the code FUEL, F-U-E-L, when you call, or use the code at the online checkout. Again, use the code FUEL when buying a single bottle of Orosine to receive a second bottle free.
Your official home for Penn State football and basketball is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app. Listen to every Nittany Lions game on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
Do you really want to take shots the rest of your life just to lose weight? NJ Diet's typical results are twice as fast as weight loss injections without any of the side effects. Plus, you'll learn proper portion control and develop healthy eating habits. With NJ Diet's 40-day program, you will lose 20 to 40-plus pounds, contractually guaranteed. Lose weight quickly, the healthy and natural way. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. You've heard me talk with you about my friend, board-certified prosthodontist, my dentist, Dr. Robert Bentz of Bentz Dental Group in East Norriton. Dr. Bentz is nationally, locally recognized as one of the area's top prosthodontists. I stopped in to see him, showed me his 3D printer. We've talked about this before, but they have incorporated it so much in their practice. It really helps him expand his patient solutions, specialize in new ways to help you achieve your oral goals, makes it so convenient. We've talked about in one sitting and all the rest of it, some of the stuff he can do. Now more than ever, too. Local dentists, they refer their patients to him for more complex cases. He loves to be a problem solver. Call Dr. Bentz at 610-272-6949. Make that appointment today. He's my dentist, my good friend. He's at your service to get your dental health back on track. Call him with any questions or make an appointment. 610-272-6949.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
Make Hatfield a part of your back-to-school routine for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Hatfield makes it easy to create flavorful meals in minutes your whole family will enjoy. With a wide variety of marinated pork, ground pork and sausage, ham and bacon, Hatfield provides delicious back-to-school meal solutions for your family's busy schedule. So before you head for the practice fields or rehearsal, find your flavor with Hatfield. Visit simplyhatfield.com for easy back-to-school recipes and to find a retailer near you.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
Kayal and Company, hour number 4 underway on a Wednesday morning. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Nick, Dawn, Greg, Daniel, and Anthony. 855-839-1210, the phone number. Twitter and Instagram at 1210 WPHT. You can stream us live on the free Odyssey app. Watch us on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210 WPHT. Dawn Stensland's Big 3 coming up in just about 10 minutes. The Morning Mystery Movie Clip at 9:20. Your chance to win more Phillies tickets, Redding's Phillies tickets, that is, coming up on September the 3rd. And, of course, we've got part 2 of what's on the cut sheet still on the way. Some of the people that don't understand humor, take everything on Twitter too seriously, are bothered over the Ron DeSantis debate night bingo card. No, this is wildly stupid. And a few other comments saying completely unnecessary and what's great about it. So, sir, this is a Wendy's. I don't know how to help you. Let's not take everything to heart.
I know.
I didn't think DeSantis had those kind of loyalists. But then again, everybody's bothered by something.
I think he does have. I think that he does have a lot of fans because of what happened in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, I hope everybody does well. And I do hope, to Greg's point, I do hope that they can talk about Joe Biden and Bidenomics and the devastating impact of Biden's administration pretty much on every front.
Yes. But you know what I do really hope for more than anything is that when all the smoke settles and the dust clears, we just rally behind whoever's leading the way. And once again, it's, hey, what about taking a page out of the Dems playbook, right? Mm-hmm. Like you always say, you go through the primary, you have your debates, and then Democrats rally together behind whoever is the chosen one. So if you're exhausted by Trump and Trump wins, well, what's your alternative? Your alternative is more of Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or Gavin Newsom. If somehow the polls are wrong and it ends up being DeSantis and you love Trump and you say, I'm not going to vote for DeSantis, well, then I think that's the wrong approach as well. I don't think you're wrong when you say, I will absolutely vote for whoever emerges victorious on the Republican side. Like, we can all have our separate preferences and point out why we like this guy or what we don't like about that guy. But then once we identify who the captain of the team is, we need to rally behind the captain. And whatever play is called, run that play. And when that captain or that quarterback is in the huddle, everybody shuts up and listens to the quarterback. And you go out there and you do your job and do what you can to make sure that your guy or gal ends up winning. Very simple. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, and I thought this was interesting. She's considered a rising star. I like her thoughts, although I find her to be a little over the top and annoying. Tommy Lahren from Outkick tweeted, really hard for me to buy the man who served his country in the United States military, has been a faithful husband and loving father to 3, a leader in Congress, a phenomenal governor who has fought COVID tyranny and mandates, taken on woke Disney, taken on and defeated CRT and LGBTQ plus grooming in schools, signed a heartbeat bill, bust illegals to blue cities, fired activist district attorneys, supported and funded law enforcement, and won his state by nearly 20 points, including a historic win in Miami-Dade, is somehow a rhino because he chose to run against Trump. Sorry, not buying that load of dog crap. Try again. Which is kind of the point I made last week that, like, if you want to argue that DeSantis is a rhino, you can do that till you're blue in the face. I don't think anybody with a functional brain believes that Ron DeSantis is a rhino. He's about as conservative as it gets. Chris Christie's the rhino.
Tommy Lahren and Ann Coulter are on the same page as far as
Ann Coulter.
They want anybody
still dead to me.
They want anybody but Trump.
Yeah. It's just Tommy Lahren's annoying, but she's got decent opinions. The whole thing, at the end of the day, you're probably, if you're looking at it on a sliding scale, Christie is about as close to the center as you can get. And then I think DeSantis and Ramaswamy about as far to the right as you can get. Pence is probably close, but Pence, I just think of Pence, I think the Constitution. I don't know. I don't think the Constitution makes you far right.
And that makes me wonder about, for example, the abortion issue. Mm-hmm. Will they ask? And they all make a deal as far as what questions, or what areas they're going to cover. Mm-hmm. So I hope that they do talk about the abortion issue, because that's something that will be on the ballot for Democrats. They will push that, obviously.
Yes.
And so for somebody like Pence or Burgum, who've traditionally been very, considered by the mainstream media far right on that issue. So that would be interesting to see all of their views on that one.
Yes.
How that'll play out.
That's correct. And it'll play out tonight at 9 o'clock on Fox News in Milwaukee. 855-839-1210. Couple of stories in corporate America. I think this is a really bad look in a kind of non-obvious way for Bud Light. I don't know if you guys saw this story, but there's a wild video that is going viral across social media where a customer who is holding a 6-pack of Miller Lite of beer ends up shooting a robber that tries to pull off a heist at a store.
It's an awesome video.
This is great.
Yeah.
And
Danny, I don't know if we can get that up on YouTube, but if we can, it'd be great.
Yeah, I didn't mean to spring this on Dan. This is one of the stories I wanted to get Bruno's thoughts on, and I was saving it for Tony. But a wild video shows the moment that a convenience store customer shot a robber while holding a 6-pack of Miller Lite beer. Like, this is the greatest advertising Miller Lite could ever ask for, and also simultaneously the worst thing Bud Light could ask for since Dylan Mulvaney was plastered on a can. So surveillance video shows a man who's dressed in black with a black face mask on entering the Stone Lake Marathon Mini Mart back on July 27th, so just about a month ago. And police said that the suspect announced himself to the clerk by saying, "You know why I'm here." As in, I'm going to rob your store.
Dressed in black,
and a customer appeared to be going to the register.
The suspect.
All right, so we now do have it up on YouTube.
This guy is fabulous. Look at this.
This is great.
YouTube.com/@1210WPHT if you want to see this video.
That's correct.
Holding a what is this, like a
6-pack of Miller.
Yeah.
It looks like, is it cans? No, it's bottles.
Bottles, yeah.
You got the little cardboard crate with the bottles. And the customer is going up there just as the suspect goes behind the counter to reportedly threaten the clerk. The convenience store employee puts his hands up as the suspect allegedly threatens him, while at the same time, the customer calmly took out his gun and shot the robber, all while still holding on to the Miller Lite.
Yeah, you don't want to drop the 6-pack.
Of course
Come
not.
on.
Hey, this is great advertising for Miller Lite.
I love this.
This guy should be in a commercial now.
Yes.
I mean, this is like Tim Scott, commit a crime, go to jail. Messaging, like rob a store, F around, and find out. This goes back to our correctional officer who's pumping gas, and somebody tries to carjack the lady, and she's like, whoa, by the way, hey, I got a gun too. You want to go?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. We're
I'm not taking this.
We're airing it again. He knows something's up because this guy walks in all shady.
Yep.
And instead of saying, hold my beer.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've got the convenience store guy. It looks like he's got a mask on.
Yep.
You've
No,
got
no,
a
no.
robber with a mask.
He has a.
Oh, is that a beard?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a beard. Good beard, by the way. I might have
Yeah.
to try that.
The
And
guy's
then-
he's waiting for his moment.
Yes.
Takes it out, puts it up, fires it.
Boom.
And he leans over the beef jerky to shoot him.
He does.
He went right over the Jack Links. This is remarkable.
It is.
But he's a big guy, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's not playing around.
African-American wearing a white tank top, and it looks like he's got I want to say that's a U.S. Navy hat.
What state was this in, Nick?
This was
It's a stand your ground state, wherever it is.
That's my question.
That is a great question. I don't see it.
As long as we're
where the hell is Stone Lake Marathon? I have no idea. Oh, I'm sorry. This is in Southwest Michigan.
Stand your ground.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I was just
the town of Cassopolis.
Yep.
It's a Greek town.
Man.
Southwest Michigan. I don't know. Gretchen Whitmer might throw that guy in jail. Are we sure that this guy's going to be in a stand your ground state?
No, Michigan.
I don't know. Michigan's pretty blue.
I don't know. Detroit is.
Well, of course.
I think it's again, but I have relatives who live in some second cousins. I think Michigan again. The cities are blue, and much of the state is, at least I'll say this, a Second Amendment state.
I was just going to say, here's what Miller Lite needs to do.
Yeah.
They need to have a fall football campaign with this guy and do the "Here's to you" Second Amendment wearing, gun toting, violence stopping, customer convenience guy?
Jeremy Burke on YouTube says Miller Lite tastes great, less filling, and has balls. Amen.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, come on, let's go. Get this guy, I believe, I've had his name right here, Cordelius Anthony Martin.
Yep.
How about that?
This guy, whoever this guy is, Miller Lite should be on the phone with him and be like, hey, you want to be our next spokesperson?
It would be the best Miller Lite commercial
Yes.
since they had the Commissioner of the More Taste League.
Yes.
You remember that?
I didn't want to spill my beer. Well, I pulled this gun out of my holster.
Yeah.
And also saved this convenience store from being robbed.
Hey, Bud and Anheuser-Busch, hold our beer while we stop a crime in progress.
That's amazing.
There you
That
go.
is amazing.
Nice work.
Can just one more time, Daniel, if you can put the video up, youtube.com/@1210 WPHT. By the way, if you're watching right now, please hit the like button.
Yeah.
So we can see it one more time, because this guy should be the spokesperson for Miller Lite.
I totally agree. True American hero.
Here's to you, gun wielding guy
This is awesome.
who doesn't. Yeah, look, he sees it, and
Yep.
he knows something's about to go down. He's like, nope.
Oh, and he backpedals too, and he goes behind the the aisle.
Yep.
So he kind of takes a little shelter, so to speak.
Yep.
And then he pulls. The robbery is occurring.
Yep.
And he's all right. I want to see where he pulls the gun out again. He goes right over the beef jerky, and the sunglasses.
He has sunglasses on
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
A large African American. Then
Well, and the
individual.
sunglass rack.
Yep.
Which, by the way, gas station sunglasses are a great value. Don't go buy Oakleys for $250.
Did he kill the guy?
I don't know. I think he's in the hospital.
Newman Price says this guy can be the opening act for Oliver Anthony. By the way, coming up at 9:40, a new Oliver Anthony song just dropped, and we will debut it here on Kayal and Company at 9:40. So make sure you are tuned in.
I am told that this hero holding the beer only had a few words to say, and those words were, try that in a small town. See how far you make it down.
Yeah.
Cassopolis, Southwest Michigan. I have to take a road trip there. All right, 9:18. Before we get to the morning mystery movie clip, let's get to Dawn Stensland's Big 3 at 9.
It's the Big 3 at 9 on Kayal and Company.
And Big 3 at 9, sponsored this morning by United Tire. So number 1, let's talk about it. Pennsylvania's Supreme Court ruling state police cannot hide from the public its policy on how it monitors social media. So this is a 6-year court battle in Pennsylvania that we've been talking about, and now we have a Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruling just yesterday saying that you're not allowed to hide. We have to have transparency with regard to social media. This was a huge story in Philadelphia when Philadelphia police, when Krasner's office was saying we need to look at Facebook and social media of law enforcement. And then there were even law enforcement officers who were investigated. Ultimately, nothing came of it, to my recollection. But advocates for civil liberties cheering the decision. The law enforcement agency had argued that fully disclosing its policy for using software to monitor online postings may compromise public safety. So these are all the justices, all four are Democrats. They were the ones who supported the majority decision, which said the lower Commonwealth Court went beyond its authority in trying to give the state police another attempt to, quote, justify keeping details of the policy a secret.
Interesting.
So yesterday's order would end the 6-year, the 6-year battle.
Mm-hmm.
So
I would just say in general, when it comes to social media and identities, I would think, moving forward, I would be totally okay with this, and this might run counter to some people's beliefs. You should have to actually post your real picture on social media. If you want to be on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and talk trash and harass people, show your face.
Or because some people, I always say don't do this, but some people have like their kids or grandkids.
Well, that's too much information.
Right.
Right.
But I do agree with you that they should have to prove that they're a real person.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes they're bots, but most of the times they're trolls with multiple accounts. Like we get them in the YouTube chat from time to time, like that Boss Hog guy. Show your face, Boss Hog. What you got?
But I thought
But
Elon Musk, to your point, was going to crack down on that.
I don't know what Elon's up to these days. He's another flip flopper. I'm starting to lose interest in Elon. I
don't know. I don't know what to think after the Susie
he-
Cool thing. That's just weird.
Isn't he taking headlines off of Twitter?
Is he taking headlines off too?
Yeah,
He's tweaking.
I know he was going to get rid of the block feature.
Yeah.
He's got too much time on his hands. Just let Twitter go.
I don't think. I think
got it. You bought it. You own it. You lost money. Just leave it be.
I think he's one of those guys that can't sleep, and his brain is always going.
I
It's that he
know.
can't sleep.
I know.
By the way, we're 6 likes away from 200, 5 now. So if you're watching right now, please hit the like button.
Number 2 in the big 3 here. Remember, we began the summer because we're counting the days of summer as we wind down to back to school. So as we look back at the summer and thinking about the crackdowns down the shore on those unruly teens, how did it all work?
Yeah, how did it?
So remember that first weekend, which I was there in Ocean City, Memorial Day weekend, and they had nearly 1,000 encounters with the Utes, as we say, down the shore. And even there were people who were quitting their jobs, especially in the public restrooms there, because they were spat upon and, really dealt with basically abuse. So ultimately, the bottom line here from Ocean City Police, and if you were down the shore, Ocean City, Sea Isle, Wildwood, they were hiring part-timers. The police or law enforcement presence was everywhere. But how was it really? So Ocean City on the boardwalk, yes, they get a thumbs up, an A+ grade for taking the teens off the beach and off the boardwalk. But the rest of Ocean City, for example, inland, they still had to deal with the teens. They were still, so maybe they dispersed them, but they were still unruly. So the bottom line that I'm seeing is these shore towns are saying we've got to find a way to deal with parents. It's a parental issue, shouldn't be seen as a police issue.
So basically, all they did was reallocate the problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So far this year, and when we say year, we're talking about since Memorial Day, 16,336 curbside warnings given to teens in that's Ocean City.
Wow.
16,336. And remember, this is a Governor Murphy issue and a legislative issue that essentially they handcuffed police from what they can and cannot do. They can't call the parents of underage kids and that sort of thing.
It's just an amazing trend in society. We used to handcuff the bad people. Now we just handcuff police.
It's true.
It's remarkable.
Oh, well put.
We got to take a page out of the Jaws play, but we got to hang these little punks up by their Buster Browns. That's what I would do.
Number 3, since you mentioned it, Oliver Anthony's new song that's going to drop, his Rich Men North of Richmond, that I heard this song blaring from the F-150s, the pickup trucks of those construction workers when we come in.
Ridge Lines.
Oh, yeah, and Nick Hale's Honda Ridge Line. That his Rich Men North of Richmond debuting at number 1 on the Billboard's Hot 100, and then his new song about to drop. But it's fun to watch the way that CNN and MSNBC and some of the left-wing kind of so-called objective media, how they say controversial song.
Yeah, I know. Don't you love that controversial song?
Yeah, controversial because he talks about how tough things are for the working individual.
Yeah, Rolling Stone and Spin and all those magazines used to love the working man's anthems by John Lennon.
Oh,
and
yeah.
John Mellencamp and Bruce Springsteen. But
Now they're the arbiters of what's controversial.
Exactly. So he's a right-wing agitator. I'm like, is he? Because we played an interview with him yesterday. He seems far from a right-wing agitator.
Is your car's AC unit making you sweat? Time to cool off. Cash in on savings at United Tire. Save $50 on any AC service with a purchase of 4 new tires from select brands at United Tire. Just stop by, visit UnitedTire.com. Don't drive alone. Drive United.
By the way, I use United Tire all the time. I love United Tire. And we will play the debut of the Oliver Anthony video in about 25 minutes.
Okay. Sounds good.
Nice.
Wait, is that? Hang on.
25 minutes, 9:50?
No.
9:45?
Yeah.
Nice.
We got it coming up.
I can't wait.
It's coming up.
It's coming up. But right now, we are going to play the Morning Mystery movie clip.
And now, the Morning Mystery Movie Clip on Kayal and Company. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
I don't do that stuff no more. Sorry about that. Listen, it's getting kind of late, kid, so I'm gonna close up.
How good was he?
Paulo? Yeah, he's great. He's a perfect fighter. Ain't nobody ever better.
So how'd you beat him?
Time beat him. Time, takes everybody out. It's undefeated. Anyway, I gotta lock
So when
up.
Mickey died, he came and talked to you, right? Talked you out of quitting, took you to L.A., trained you, brought you back.
How do you know all this?
How do you think?
Think you know what it is? Be call at 12 at 855-839-1210, and you could win this great prize.
How do you think? He duck-duck-go'd it. That's how he figured it out. But caller 12, 855-839-1210. If you can identify that clip, we'll get a 4-pack of Reading Phillies tickets. It's coming up on September the 3rd, and we have another 4-pack as the Phillies take on the New Hampshire Fisher Cats on Sunday the 3rd at First Energy Stadium. If you can identify that movie, that specific movie, there's been a lot of them. Caller 12, 855-839-1210. We're back after this here on Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
For nearly 100 years, folks have trusted Blue Star medicated ointment to relieve the pain and itching of almost any skin irritation.
It works on my son's dry, itching feet and their jock itch.
I had this rash on my neck. Nothing worked until Blue Star.
Blue Star worked great on my ringworm without steroids.
My wife and I have been using Blue Star for years. It's never let us down.
Look for the white box with the Blue Star in the first aid section. Feel Blue Star work fast, or your money back.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi everyone, this is Stephanie Kelly from Emmons Roofing and Siding, and I have some exciting news to share. Emmons has partnered with SunPower, the top-rated home solar company in New Jersey. SunPower has been leading the solar industry for over 37 years and is the only U.S. solar company that's lasted longer than their 25-year warranty. Kill the bill. The energy bill, that is. Imagine no more high energy bills, while all the while helping reduce your carbon footprint at no cost to you. It's a win-win. Yes, we now offer solar, but remember, if you need a new roof, siding, doors, windows, or interior remodeling, don't wait. Right now, Emmons is offering all 1210 listeners 10% off roofing, siding, and Anderson windows. And we are continuing to offer 12-month same-as cash financing. And don't forget that lifetime warranty on your roof. Give us a call today for a free estimate at 856-885-6677, emmonsroofing.com. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, kitchens, baths, and solar. Trust Emmons to be your first and last stop for all your home improvement needs. emmonsroofing.com.
Join us as we end August with the Angels. The Phils host the Halos for a 3-game series on Monday, August 28th and Tuesday, August 29th, both at 6:40, and Wednesday, August 30th at 1:05. Order tickets now at Phillies.com. Kids 14 and under can dress like the best with the Trey Turner t-shirt, courtesy of IBEW Local 98. Get yours on Saturday, August 26th at 7:15 when the Phils face the Cardinals. Order tickets now at Phillies.com.
Angie makes it easier than ever to connect with skilled pros to get your home projects done well, from repair to remodel. Get started on the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Crash-proof retirement's consumer protection policies require oversight through video recordings on all consumer meetings, which are then kept on file, proving a full fiduciary responsibility to the highest level. In fact, Crash-proof retirement is the only firm in the country that exercises this level of transparency, which delivers peace of mind to the everyday consumer.
I'm Patty Parentozzi from Lansdale, Pennsylvania. The thing that impressed me with the Crash-proof retirement system is that all of the meetings that we have are recorded. It's very comforting to know that because everything is videotaped, they have nothing to hide. They're doing this to protect you. They want you to know that what they say they mean.
Find out what your advisor is hiding from you. Invite them to join you for a recorded meeting at Crash Proof Retirement and see if they stand by the promises they made you on camera in our consumer-driven offices. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Looking for an electric vehicle? Well, Winter Ford has the largest electric vehicle selection in South Jersey. Stop in today to get up to $4,500 in rebates. Looking to service your new or pre-owned vehicle? Winter Ford will come to you with their state-of-the-art pickup and delivery service at no charge. Call 800-428-4000 for offer details. Visit in person or online at winterford.com. Winter Ford, people you trust, service and value you'll love.
This is Matt Spiegel of 670 The Score in Chicago, and my podcast, The PBP, Voices of Baseball, is all about the art and craft of play-by-play. Catch up on episodes with Joe Davis, Joe Buck, and many more. Then something crazy happened along the way. I did a weekend of Cubs-Cardinals on the radio, so now conversations are enriched with feedback and advice from Jason Benetti, Boog Shambi, and others to come. The PBP, Voices of Baseball. I bring you the people who bring you the game. Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast.
This is Larry Steinhaus of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 five-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
Hey, this is Norman Chaikin, also known as Norman the Floorman. I was wondering why the baseball was getting bigger and bigger. Then it hit me. No kidding, folks. Whether you need carpet for your home or business, whether it's your boardroom, bedroom, or investment property, I've got just the thing at half price. Whether you visit my showroom on Lancaster Avenue in Bryn Mawr or my warehouse in Conshohocken, you'll save big. Call me at 1-800-220-RUGS. That's Norman Carpet, 1-800-220-RUGS, or visit us at normancarpet.net.
Freshness made easy with Febreze Small Spaces.
Want continuous freshness that fights odors with no batteries and no outlets? Try Febreze Small Spaces. Ah, but what's a small space? To answer that, we brought in our lawyer.
Small spaces include, but are not limited to, bathrooms, closets, laundry room, kid room, pet corners, man cave, she sheds, most nooks, and all crannies.
There you go. Febreze Small Spaces is the world's most convenient. Febreze Small Spaces is super convenient and never stops freshening for 45 days.
Be happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Don Stensland this morning at 10. Kayal and Company now on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
Kayal and Company, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. What's on the cut sheet? Part due in about 5 minutes. Some of the potential voters for the upcoming election. Fox News doing like a live, kind of a little, well, who are you voting on? Where are you leaning? So forth and so on with a bunch of panelists. They just had a 22-year-old female college graduate up there, says her top concern is the economy. Yet she's leaning Ramaswamy. I think if your top concern is the economy, you should be leaning Donald Trump, but that's just my 2 cents.
Like you said her age. Like she's like Daniel.
Yeah.
Who I think Ramaswamy has that ability to offer hope and a level of excitement to those younger, 19 through 25 or even 30-year-olds.
Yeah, hope and excitement is one thing. Or I could print out the economy when Trump was president and be like, here's the numbers. Here's your gas. Here's your energy and appliances. Here's the inflation. Here's the unemployment. What do you think about $2.39 for a gallon of gas? Oh, yeah, okay. Trump. Very interesting. All right, let me grab Paul's in Millville, New Jersey, home of Mike Trout. And Paul's got our morning mystery movie clip identified. Paul, good morning. How are you?
I'm okay. How you doing?
We're doing well. What movie did we just play for you, sir?
Creed.
That is correct. How about a 4-pack of tickets to the Reading Phillies on Sunday, September 3rd? Sound good?
Sounds good, buddy.
All right, brother. Thank you very much. Paul from Millville, the winner. Nice. And maybe he can recruit Mike Trout to come back home one day.
Why don't we ever get those callers that, like, scream when we, like...
We get them sometimes.
Down the hall there on the
Yeah, it's all
music stations,
recorded.
they can give away a box of tissues.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, oh, my God!
Well, they're all
we never get that.
Well, they're all Biden voters, and they think the economy's good down the hall.
I don't know. I just feel like
sometimes we get people that are very ecstatic. Other people that I think are
it was nothing against Paul and Millville there. It was just I've just noticed this
mature audience.
It's a theme on when we give stuff away that we're not getting the enthusiasm of like, hey,
yeah. Well, the callers don't necessarily always equate to the same enthusiasm from the YouTube comment section.
Greg likes screamers. Maybe give away a hotel visit. Cape May.
Well, we'll be giving away starting September 5th trips to Disney World.
Yay! I'll scream for that.
So starting September 5th, throughout the whole month of September, you have to listen to Kayal and Company every morning.
Yep.
Nick will read a keyword.
Oh, we're doing the keyword.
We're doing the keyword contest. And you could win a trip to Disney World. All month.
Can I nominate the first keyword?
No, I think it's
mustard.
It's predetermined.
I mean, it's Disney, it's DeSantis, it's a keyword.
Mustard.
The keyword is
mustard.
Can family members call in?
They cannot. They cannot. There's a list of rules, Dawn.
Yes. Odyssey employees are ineligible.
Absolutely. There's a list of rules that we are not allowed to. But yeah, I think we're going to do the keyword in this hour too. So if you're listening right now at 9:37, I think it's going to be in this hour that we're going to be giving. Excuse me. Start over. I think it'll be in this hour that you will be doing the keyword.
Is it going to be one of those, hey, be listening at 9, 1, 5, and 7 type deals?
No. I think you're going to do the keyword every morning at like a certain time.
Okay.
In the 9 o'clock hour, and then they have to call in. And
can I tell you something? If you go to Disney right after Christmas or right around New Year's, it's awesome. The weather's amazing. We did that a couple times over the years. It's so much fun.
I always seem to be there in July and August. It's like, what am I doing? Like, and I love the hot weather, but like Disney in August is torture.
By the way,
I like the heat.
That mustard clip.
Mustard.
Mike Carr on YouTube thinks that we should mash that together with Master of Puppets by Metallica.
That's
Master, mustard.
Funny.
Can we get a remix made by all the boys in the back?
I think we can do that. If they can't
Friday,
do it,
maybe.
If they can't do it, I'll give it to Battle down the hall, and I'm sure he can do that.
Let's if we can.
He did the what's on the cut sheet sounder.
Okay.
That's all Matt Battle.
If we can have that for Friday going into the big week off next week, that'd be great. Yeah. We'll play that every hour. Eventually, people will hate it.
Mustard.
You stop with the mustard already.
Mustard.
All right, 9:39. Let's get to what's on the cut sheet part 2.
What's on the cut sheet?
Part 2. Yes, what's on the cut sheet part 2 is sponsored by. Who is it sponsored by? Boys, do I have a sponsor here? Is it sponsored?
Millville Air Show.
Thank you.
From Paul.
And we just had Paul from with Millville.
Wait, hang on. I lost my.
The Millville Air Show. My son actually wants to go to this because it's the home of the original P-47 fighter jets. This is how we trigger. This is how we trigger.
All right,
we should do this on purpose, but it's the Millville Air Show. Just read it afterwards.
Yeah.
Do your thing. I'll find it.
Did they bring it in for me?
I already, you know what's funny? You know, we were talking about reads. I did my Piazza at the end of the big take this morning.
Yeah.
20 minutes later, Dorenzo comes in. He goes, here's your Piazza read.
Oh, God.
I'm like, yo, Holmes, I just did that 20 minutes ago.
I need to start cracking skulls around here, honestly. Honestly, I do. I'm just.
Please don't bother me with such frivolity.
What's the Country Part Do? Sponsored by Millville Army Airfield Museum. Help honor World War II aviation heritage at Millville Army Airfield in New Jersey, America's first defense airport and gunnery school for P-47 Thunderbolt fighter pilots. Admission is free. Schedule a group tour online at p47millville.org and become a member now. Rudy Giuliani, today is he's on his way to Atlanta to surrender. And he gave a. By the way, I'm going to play the debut of the new Oliver Anthony song, "Brink of War," in about 5 minutes. So make sure you're tuned in for that. If you're watching on YouTube, you can watch along with the video. Here's Rudy Giuliani talking about surrendering in Atlanta.
I don't know if I plead today, but if I do, I plead not guilty. And I get photographed. Isn't that nice? A mugshot for the man who probably put the worst criminals of the 20th century in jail. You find a prosecutor who has a better record of mine in the last 100 years. I bet you don't. Or a mayor. And they're going to degrade themselves by doing a mugshot of me. Like, people will recognize me. And now, of course, they can fingerprint me, but I've been fingerprinted 150 times, so this will turn out exactly like the FBI search turned out. They're lying. I'm telling the truth. They're destroying my right to counsel, my right to be a lawyer. They're destroying his right to counsel. It's not accidental that they've indicted all his lawyers. Never heard of that before in America. Now they've indicted people in this case. I don't even know who they are. These are just regular people making a normal living. They're going to bankrupt them. They won't convict them.
So he's been fingerprinted 150 times. I did not know that. You know what, though? He doesn't sound good.
I know.
Have you noticed that? And we've played him before. I don't know. I don't want to, is he? I don't know if he's got something going on or it's just.
I think that's the inside story. 79 years old.
Yeah.
Iconic. When he was mayor of New York City, he was the one, who said, we're not going to tolerate even a broken window, and really turned it around from a crime-ridden city to a gleaming example of what it means to support law enforcement. But, there's a piece of this, Nick, and we've talked about this, where to see this, his voice kind of faltering and 79 years, and the issue of dignity, and to treat somebody like this and to try to break a man, that's a theme here. And I think the glee with which it's being reported in the media, or some other, politicians, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, whoever, this does not play well, to your point. It just seems like kicking. I don't know. I don't think it plays well.
I would just say, from a prosecutorial standpoint, if you want to clean up blue cities that have turned into disasters, hire a district attorney, or I should say vote for a district attorney that subscribes to his approach on law and order, and in 18 months, your streets will look a lot different.
Vivek Ramaswamy had to clean up some of his comments that he gave to the Atlantic, where he sounded, to quote the Atlantic, he sounded a little conspiratorial when it came to 9/11. He said that he believed that there were federal agents on the planes that crashed into the World Trade Center, as well as January 6th. He was comparing both of them. Martha McCallum, I believe this is Martha McCallum. Yes, Martha McCallum questioned him about this, and this is what he said.
All right. I do want to ask you about something that's obviously gotten a lot of attention over the past couple of days with regard to your comments about September 11th. And let's just play your quote from the interview. This is with The Atlantic, and here it is.
I think it is legitimate to say how many federal agents were on the planes that hit the Twin Towers. Like, I think we want it. Maybe the answer is zero. Probably a zero, for all I know, right? I have no reason to think it was anything other than zero. But if we're doing a comprehensive assessment of what happened on 9/11, we have a 9/11 commission. Absolutely, that should be an answer the public knows the answer to. Well, if we're doing a January 6th commission, absolutely, those should be questions that we should get to the bottom of.
Do you think there were federal agents on planes on September 11th?
Of course
who
not.
were part of the attack on the Twin Towers?
Per the clip that you just played, of course not was my point. However, I have a very different view of January 6th. We know for sure there were federal agents in the field.
Were you conflating the two things when you were talking about them?
No, I think the reporter asked about them in a combined manner. He said, why should we ask that question if you're not asking it of 9/11? I said, you know what? I always favor getting to the truth of what the government tells us. The deeper point, Martha, though, is this.
We have a government that has systematically lied to the people of this country. I'm a millennial. I'm 38. I grew up into an era, whether it was the Clinton administration, whether it was the Bush administration or the Obama administration, that has systematically lied, gotten us into foreign wars in Iraq and elsewhere on false pretenses. Even now, we have a government that lies about the origin of COVID-19, about the veracity of that Hunter Biden laptop, about government technology censorship, increasingly about even how our money is being spent in Ukraine. And one of the things that I'm going to do as the next president of the United States is restore truth in government.
Okay, but
the view is people can't handle the truth. I think the people can handle the truth.
Okay, it is a confusing statement that you made. So just to be crystal clear here, who was responsible for the killing of nearly 3,000 Americans on September 11th?
Terrorists from al-Qaeda. But this is a crucial truth that's been left out, aided by the Saudi government. And this is a stain on our national history. The fact that the FBI and the 9/11 Commission lied back in 2001 and 2002, saying there was no Saudi intelligence involvement. We now know, in declassified documents quietly from the government in 2021, that Omar al-Bayoumi, supposed graduate student, was indeed a Saudi intelligence operative. And I think we can't just sweep these facts under the rug. Is this a main element of my campaign? No, it's not. But when I'm asked about it, am I going to hide and sweep under the rug the old truth? No, I'm not going to do that either.
Okay, so I would say that's probably the first misstep by Vivek from the standpoint of saying FBI agents on the plane. Well, then I would ask you, Vivek, I think the logical follow-up is, where did those agents go?
Well, he said his point in that whole thing was that the 9/11 Commission, which, by the way, was a complete joke,
yes, farce.
Didn't investigate any of that, any of the rumors that were going. Like it was like this closed shut case, and it was the Al Qaeda members, and that was it.
Yeah, which I don't believe.
And the whole involvement in the Saudi government and all that stuff has kind of been swept under the rug because of our relationship with them. So he's saying that if they're lying to us about other things, why couldn't they be lying to us about this stuff? Right?
Okay, didn't come off that way though.
But to me, it did. To me, but this is an important moment for him because he speaks very quickly, and he's being a little sarcastic, right? And so this is where the mainstream media and whether it's Fox or CNN, and Martha's like, well, who? Blah, blah, blah. He's clear to me. He's like Greg said. He's clearly being a little sarcastic, but what he's ultimately saying is, yeah, of course, we deserve transparency on all of these investigations. Yeah. That's really what he's saying. But he should learn. He has to learn from this that he speaks very quickly. He's being sarcastic. He's being sophisticated.
Well,
he is sophisticated.
Then I defend him because there's many times where I say something that's snarky and it's totally meant to be sarcastic, or I tweet something.
Right?
It's like, no, I don't really believe
and
that.
And somebody doesn't understand what you're saying, and that's why with Trump, that's why if you think about his message and why he has had that broad appeal, and especially in 2016, he's very clear.
Yep. All right, let's do the Oliver Anthony world premiere video for Brink of War. Daniel, if you could play the video along with it. If you're tuning in right now, go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT, youtube.com/@1210WPHT if you want to see the video. It's just basically him in the woods again, which is where he loves it. So, Daniel, I'm going to start the video in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, if it weren't for my old dogs and the good Lord, they'd have me strung up in the psych ward. 'Cause every day living in this new world is one too many days to me. Son, we're on the brink of the next world war, and I don't think nobody's praying no more, and I ain't saying I know it for sure. I'm just down on my knees begging the Lord to take me home. I wanna go home. I don't know which road to go. It's been so long. I just know I didn't used to wake up feeling this way, cussing myself every damn day. There's always some kind of bill to pay. People just doing what the rich man say. I wanna go home. reparations, farming the ground. Grandson sells it to a man out of town. And 2 weeks later, the trees go down. Only got concrete growing around. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I don't know which road to go. It's been so long. I just know I didn't used to wake up feeling this way. Cussing myself every damn day. People have really gone and lost their way. They all just do what the TV say. I wanna go home. If it weren't for my old dogs and the good Lord, they'd have me strung up in the psych ward.
Yeah, that's going to be number one. I actually like that a lot more than the first song.
do?
Rich Men North of Richmond.
Yeah, rich men north of Richmond.
Yeah.
You know, I like both of them.
That's good.
But if I'm a candidate right now, I want this guy at my rally, and I want to say, come home.
Yep.
Come home to the party that represents you, and I'm that candidate who's going to bring you home.
Is that a
and
Trump-
we're
is
gonna
that a
make
Trump
jobs.
thing?
We're going to make jobs better. If I'm Trump, if I'm DeSantis, if I'm Ramaswamy, if I'm Nikki Haley, I am doing this. I want him. How do we get him at my rally? I want to bring you home. I want to bring America home.
Yeah, I agree with Pretzel Time on YouTube. I think the first song was better, but I do enjoy that one too.
Yeah.
Very good.
By the way, he eclipsed. Can we just admit the fact that he eclipsed Taylor Swift to be the #1 artist in America?
I mean, it's a big accomplishment.
It's huge.
Yes.
Nobody knew who he was.
Yes.
Weeks ago.
That's amazing.
2 weeks ago. It's crazy.
It really is.
But it shows you something is going on in this country where it's all coming together, and whoever can capture this spirit that we're feeling, and you played him yesterday, and I loved him.
I've got a hankering to go into the woods all of a sudden. I'm not a very woodsy kind of guy, unless I'm looking for my golf ball.
Peggy and my sister-in-law lives not so far from you. They're like, Dawn, Nick's in the woods. I don't know.
What the hell's he doing? That tee shot was really errant, wasn't it?
You come out with a giant red beard.
Red beard, poison ivy, and 5 golf balls.
Where's the poison ivy when you went in the woods?
Where do I take my drop at? Can I hit from Dawn's yard? Oh, boy. Speaking of Dawn in her yard, it's going to be her yard in 7 minutes. She's coming up at 10 o'clock, and we find out what's on tap this morning.
Yeah, take you home. We will have Beth Ann Rosica is going to talk about all things with regard to the elections in the suburbs in Philadelphia. So she always has a great take. And then I think it's Linda Stein. Anthony set this up. Broad and Liberty has a great piece. Of course, we're awaiting word, and there's a lot of breaking news about a law enforcement officer who's in the crosshairs, whether he deserves that or not. So there is so much breaking in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, a lot of developing stories. And, of course, who else is turning themselves in Georgia? Trump. Will we get any previews from him? There's so much going on, all coming up.
All right, the Dawn Show at 10 o'clock this morning as we wrap it up on a Wednesday with Who Won Twitter Today.
Who won Twitter?
Conservative skeptic wins Twitter. He says, Nick, so many hypersensitive cream puffs these days. Laugh, people.
I
It's
know.
good for you.
Thank
I
you.
agree. I
Totally
agree. I think
agree.
that sums up how I feel.
That would be accurate. All right, Tony Bruno potentially tomorrow,
Yes.
if we can technically align that.
Does he have a banjo, and does he play in the woods?
He's had moments where he looks like he just came out of the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lets
Yeah.
the hair grow back in sometimes and the beard.
Technical difficulties
Yes.
today.
Aw.
We're working hard behind the scenes to try and get him on tomorrow.
That's correct. All right, get ready for Trump and Tucker tonight, the GOP debate in Milwaukee at 9 o'clock. We will break it all down tomorrow, and until then...
I'll see you tomorrow. Come talk to me.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare